Welcome Australia, 2014 Grand Final, we are off!
Less than 3 hours to glory. The 2014 Grand Final is underway and Luke Parker gets the first kick. Birchall was after it, palm down, good touch early from Burgoyne. Mitchell gets involved, gives it to Birchall. Birchall comes up towards the wing. Hale throws himself into the football and takes the mark and settles the nerves early.
McAvoy's gone forward deep.
Drives the ball in long, up towards the 50. Roving is Bruce, but he runs out of bounds. Good pressure from Rampy. What a story he is. He's become one of the most reliable defenders Sydney have got, and the ball goes out of bounds 45 metres out from the goal that Hawthorn are attacking.
With that, Spanger's gone down back. He's got Reid and Gibson's on Buddy.
Shields goes head first, tries to draw the free kick. Kennedy's got it, looking to extract it, took them on, and it's holding the ball. Kennedy took on one too many. Umpire Matthew Nichols making the statement early on, and Hawthorn are going to have a shot for goal through Liam Shields in the first minute and a half of the grand final.
Gary Roan coming off, he copped one early on there, and he just got a bit of a blood nose. We'll check him out very shortly, but yeah, good work, good umpiring. Did take him on, as you said, Pete. You can't do that. And nice start this. Now Liam Shields would have been good money for first goal.
Oh, huge money.
I haven't got him, so hopefully it's the post.
We'll get down to Sam Duncan in a moment, but here is the moment for a nerve settler for Liam Shields and for Hawthorn, and to bring the Brown and Gold Army to their feet in the first 2 minutes. From 40 metres out, 45-degree angle, starts it right, brings it back and hits the post. The first score of the grand final goes to Hawthorn, one behind. Sydney yet to score just before Rex Hunt. There's a turnover here, and Sydney are just going to be able to get themselves out of trouble.
Through Malcheski, long ball to Tippett, Lake over the top, Tippett went up. Now coming through McLean, Parker, Boom Crash Opera. It went down, Birchall throwing the ball, and the umpire said it was holding there for Parker. Parker's on the left half-back flank member's side. The score is a point for Hawthorn. Sydney yet to score. Going along the centre wing, down in front of Sam Duncan, and here's Kennedy. Kennedy's taken the mark in front of Lake. Goes back on a straight arc, and he's now going to turn around from the shadows of the stand.
Slow
Build
up,
going.
Rexy.
It is a long ball down towards McLean. Oh, here's Tippett. Tippett's marked it outside 50.
Where's Buddy?
A long ball down towards Gibson and Buddy. He's up and coming over. Reid to Jack for a head pass. Across it goes to Lloyd. He can't get it. Puo Polo. This is tough. This is rugged. Ball out of play, right forward pocket, Sydney.
Well, just a fumble by Lloyd eventually was the thing that just cost them. They should have kicked the goal. Jack had to kick the goal himself. He's a senior player, Jack.
He should have kicked that, Jack. But anyway, a couple of little fumbles early.
Might have another opportunity. It's down the right end. Tippett with a quick handball. Hanbury, did he get a high one?
Play on.
Says play on. He was going to ground, and the umpire, I reckon, probably got that right.
Great start, Kurt Tippett.
Yeah, really good grab.
Now umpire Matthew Nichols putting it in the air, 20 metres out from the goal that Sydney is attacking.
Buddy.
Franklin goes third man up, but all he did was palm it down to his old teammate in Birchall, who kicked it wide, and it pitched just inside the boundary line and bounced over. Grant Birchall getting up limping here. Just a little bit ginger behind the play. They can't afford anything to happen to him, and he's the playmaker.
Little corky, mate. He'll be right. Run it out.
Hodgie and Kennedy, what a matchup.
Umpire puts the ball back into play. Pike got the front spot. Handball comes out. Cunningham's handball was short. Didn't find the intended target. Mitchell just able to take it over the line.
I just can't help but notice doesn't have the same atmosphere as Melbourne and the GWS, but this will do. Right half forward, 60 metres out from the Swan goal, outer side, punt road in, ball spinning back into play. Mike Pike over the back, it went now. Lewis did well, up to Puo Polo. Run out in front of McVeigh. Puo Polo coming in. Richards, hand past McVeigh. McVeigh went bang with a long lead down again. Oh, Tippett again, but Lake got it off. He got it, Burgoyne, got it off to Mitchell, got it off to Lewis, and Lewis went bang to the centre wing. Here comes Ruff, can't get it. Richards on top. Went out, Puo Polo, been prominent. A skew if mongrel punt to half ball, and here comes Malcheski.
And Malcheski goes with a chip pass, half volley to Jack. McGlynn gets on the end of it. Here's Kennedy now driving it inside the 50, over the head of Tippett. First goal of the grand final goes Sydney's way. And they cut them up through the middle of the ground, and maybe that's the sign of things to come. Josh Kennedy gets the first goal of the 2014 Grand Final. Sydney won straight, Hawthorn one behind. Billy Brownless and Terry Wallace in the expert comments chair for Tatsbet.
And Billy, what irony it is, Kennedy getting the first goal against Hawthorn in a Grand Final. Quite remarkable. Look, he's going to be a key player in this game. And if it ends up being that matchup between him and Luke Hodge for a lot of the time, that'll be interesting.
Okay. Well, he goes forward now. He's kicked the goal. He was in the middle, but they went through the middle. Really good work, as we know from Sydney. Nice kick there. Well done, Josh Kennedy.
Come to you in a minute, Sammy. Some news down there for Spitwater, and Merith goes in. The umpire put it down, and Hale got one high, and this is Parker got one high. The umpire saw it. Hanbury, he was taken about by Bruce. He got it off. Spanger missed it, went on to Reed. Reed now with the Swans, got it off now. Shaw got it off Malcheski. Bang, left foot kick down towards the left half forward. Gibson's got to go. He's got now Stratton. Stratton tackled Buddy, got it on further. Burgoyne. Hawthorn off the right half back flank will go to centre wing.
And they'll bring the ball up the line to Langford, who gathered and worked his way from Jeddah with a piece of magic, and then launched the ball up inside the 50. Gunston is there trying to bring the ball to the ground. Now Roughhead finished up with it. Handball, more in hope than anything else. Isaac Smith might have been taken without it. Handball comes out the back door. Shields to Roughhead. Great smother. Richards threw himself across the boot of Roughhead. That's a Grand Final moment early on. Now Stratton with the football in the middle. Wonderful tackle by McLean. The pressure is fantastic. It's Gibson to Burgoyne. Inside 50, they go Rioli. Nearly as tall as the buildings in the CBD, not far away. Here's Smith now, off to Parker. He gives it to Shaw. Shaw chips it under pressure, and Langford has taken the mark 55 metres out for Hawthorn.
Courageous effort as well. Langford, son of a gun. Will Langford, bang, right half forward flank, down towards Rough. Big boy McAvoy goes up. Parker overran the football. Here comes Hanbury hovering over the top in the back. The umpire's given it Meredith. No, it's Stavick who's going to give a free kick. That was definitely in the back to Hill.
He rode him.
And Hill there has got it.
Goats rampant.
Gunston rather, and Gunston will line it up midway, right half forward and right pocket, members side, City end.
What about the effort of Rioli, the mark and then the chase and tackle? He was right in the game early.
Well, he's pressure.
This one, Gunston and Rampy playing on each other. Gunston just beat him to the first use of the football.
And it was high, it was in the back, whatever you want, and we all know he's a beautiful kick.
This man from Beaumaris knows pressurised goal kicking, and he kicks it behind the stick. You pump him up, and then Doc, you shoot them down. I'm here to tell you, Sydney are a goal, Hawthorn 2 behind, 2 points off the half-back flank. This is Grundy, and outside 50 he goes, bang!
And he goes to a 2-on-1, but there's the next one arriving for Sydney. It's Lloyd, handball to Tippett, who started off like a house on fire. Here's Goods, losing his opponent Stratton, worked his way to the front, took the mark. Buddy comes on the lead. He's leading, here he comes!
Got it! Oh, Spanger gave him one too, just to let him know he was there, but good work, Spanger. That's what you do as a backman.
Umpire thought about giving the 50, and Buddy goes up and makes his own mark, and he'll make that mark just inside the 50.
Yeah, got away from Gibson far too easy, and then it was Spanger. He had to take over from there. Just let him know there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely what should be happening.
All the people doing haven't got 10 million a car or the Sheila.
Just got a little knee to the head on the way down.
Against his old team, Lance Franklin from 52 metres has hit it high, but he's hit it wide, and the Hawthorn defenders are able to get back there and punch it through for a minor score. Sydney 1-1-7, Hawthorn 2 behinds, nearly 9 minutes in the first quarter. Let's get some Spitwater stats powered by Kubota with Jack Heverin.
Major ball winners for the Hawks, Pete: Birchall, Shields, Burgoyne 3 apiece. Likewise Sydney, Kennedy, Malcheski and Parker.
So this is Mitchell. He's got a lead across, and Lewis will take a mark. Left half back flank, Kane centre half back. Don't know where that was. Gibson will be able to run on with it. He's got space. He's got acreage. The ball now in the hands down there of Gunston, but he mucked it up. This is Malcheski. Malcheski to Goods. Goods has taken another mark. He's outside 50. He's going to go to Hanbury. Hanbury on the left boot. Hanbury has kicked it behind. They're up and about. Sydney. Hawthorn are under siege, but the scoreboard says it's pretty even. Sydney 1-2. Hawthorn 2 behind, 2 points for Spitwater. That's what it does. Samuel J. Duncan.
Thank you very much. Yes, Grant Birchall came off not too long ago with a little bit of a right knee injury. Wasn't off for long though. He's back out there now and he looks good, Rex.
And he was the one who kicked it in short, and he's given it to Jordan Lewis.
Yeah, it was a nervous kick by Gibson, wasn't it, on the way out?
Lewis, a bit of an up and under ball. McAvoy and Pike are wrestling. Malcheski with the fist comes to shore at the back, and he pumps a high ball in, and a few shielding their eyes from the sun. Out comes Buddy, crashes the pack. Stratton stayed on the deck, gave it to Hodge, who gives it to Spanger, turns back into traffic, and then uses Stratton on the way past. Out it comes to Hill, the speedsters. Here's Hill versus Jetta, could be the Olympic final. The thing is, they don't have to run with the footy, and Hill did it really well, and he kicked it beautifully inside. Comes to Suckling, little 12-metre pass, just got the required distance, and Puopolo is going to have a shot for goal from 45.
Well, Suckling, great run from defence, but that Hawthorn do this better than any other side. That 15-metre chip kick inside forward 50. They don't ever blaze away, always just lower their eyes.
Yeah. Paul Puopolo, 21 goals, 15 so far this year.
Plenty of options too, haven't they? They've got a lot of blokes that lead and like to lead.
Man on the marks at 40. He'll kick from 45, and he'll kick very well. Hawks have got there first, and scores are locked up in the grand final after 11 minutes in the opening term. Sydney and Hawthorn, 1 goal to 8 apiece. Billy Brownless and Terry Wallace for Taxbet.
Well, they just use the ball very well from defence. That ability, they are the best side in the competition at chains that take the ball from half-back and carry the ball the entire way down the ground and finish it off with a goal. Number 1 in the AFL, and if they can get that overlap football, that's the way, Rexy, that they beat Sydney here at the MCG in the second half the last time. If they can get the overlap from half-back, that's their best chance.
Well, I remember that. I'm still waiting for a copy of it the third quarter, but we'll get there. So thanks for joining us on behalf of the TAC and McDonald's. The grand final, as Peter Donegan said, all tied up 1-2-8 each of 2, Sydney and Hawthorn. It went up, and here comes out of the centre there Kennedy of Sydney, out towards the right half forward flank, outer side, and McVeigh is over the top there with Stratton. McVeigh now, Stratton now, tackle him. It's going to be a ball up as the umpire will go in and throw it in the air, and here's Jack Heverin today right around the nation and further apart.
Still yet to touch the football for both teams. Isaac Smith, Luke Bruce, Cyril Rioli, Gary Rowan and Lewis Jetta.
Thank you very much, Simon Meredith. He throws the ball in the air. The ball now knocked over the top by big boy McAvoy. This is Kennedy. Kennedy in and out of trouble, went for Hanbury, can't take it. This is Bruce. Got it on Lewis now, all Hawthorn towards the wing. This is Bruce, but Hanbury went in and arse over Teddy went. It went to Jack. Jack now went the same way. Knocked on by Rowan, got it back now. Richards, who kicked it forward. Looking and for nearly finding the big boy down there, Reed. It came off, ploughed to the umpire. Smith, he kicked a long ball down. Franklin. Franklin. It was a wonderful kick to the left half forward flank.
He saw.
Yeah.
Franklin has done his shoulder. Well, he's held his shoulder.
Not happy with Brian Lake. We'll have a look at the replay here. He's holding his shoulder. You're right, Rex.
This is a brutal game.
Have a look at it here.
It is, Terry Wallace, a brutal game that only the strong survive and prosper.
Absolutely, and even if you're a young player, you've got to be that young Lloyd. Just beeline the ball in the middle of the ground. Brilliant job.
It was a great kick out in front of Buddy. He put the big mitts up. He's got to kick the goal now. He's a confident player. We know that. He's kicked 5 goals, 12 the last 2 times these are met.
The man on the mark, 41 metres is late. This is Franklin. He kicks a long goal. Franklin goes bang. Left half forward flank, punt road in. The red and white army rise in unison.
Big going on.
The red and white army rise in unison. Sydney 2-2-14. Hawthorn 1-2-8.
Yeah, just having a look at the replay there. Just the ability of Lloyd, young Lloyd, just to keep his eye on the footy. He just beat Burgoyne for the football. It was great play.
And Buddy Franklin, as well as having a sore shoulder, might have a slightly sore left ear as well, because that's twice now. Spanger the first time, Lake the second time. That's the old-fashioned make them earn it if they're going to take a mark in a grand final. And Franklin celebrated the minute it came off the boot against his old team. The first of how many? AFL Live, thanks to McDonald's and the TAC. Hodge with a handball down. Spanger, good second gather. Now Roughhead had a little fumble, but he farmed it out wide to Burgoyne, who had time to assess the options, and he uses it well in those circumstances. And Luke Bruce comes out and marks round about the 50.
Yeah, he's got now. Gary Rowan's got him. Bruce is very, very clever forward, and he's one of those ones that lead and he gets a little 20-metre pass.
Yeah, well, they've kept Smith on Rioli. That's why the match up there is that way.
An incredible year. 54 goals, 11 for Luke Bruce, the man who does not miss. and he's launched that one from 50. And once again, we're level pegging in the grand final, and hopefully this is a sign of things to come. After 15 minutes exactly, it's 2-2 apiece in the big one.
Well, that was a magnificent kick. I always think that Bruce is about at his best around 40 metres, and that's a 50-metre shot for goal.
Yeah.
Brilliant kick.
And Buddy's come off. Everything okay down there for Spitwater?
Yeah, look, I think it is. He's come off and the physios have said, how's that shoulder going? He reckons it's fine. He'll be back out there pretty soon. He got a round of applause when he come off from the Swans fans too. Cracking atmosphere down here, boys.
Thanks very much to Sam Duncan today. Spitwater, that's what it does. Isn't it wonderful to see the spectacle in Melbourne on show across the globe today? Knocked out over there by Tippett, and going forward there was Hanbury. It went to half forward for the Swans, and this is Birchall of Hawthorn. He kicked a skew-if mongrel bouncer over the top, and it went out now. It came out now for Cunningham and got it off now to Bay and then on towards Shaw. And Hanbury's all tied up. And it's centre-half back for Sydney, centre-half forward for Hawthorn. Umpire Meredith will put it in the air. Umpire Stevic, sorry.
Tackle count 13-3, Hawthorn's way. Spitwater stats.
Intensity, fantastic.
Mike Pike knocked it down, and here comes Hill of Hawthorn. He tried to barge his way through, and he must be. He's actually given it a high tackle.
Mitchell. Sorry.
Mitchell gives it off to Gibson, kick partially smothered. Here's Cyril, shrugged off a tackle, went to ground, bounced up like a cat, kicked it in. Kev Richards takes a hanger.
Look up and live, Mark.
A big one from the defender.
And Ruffy's still down.
He is. He's just getting to his feet now already. They've brought it out, and Pike takes an uncontested mark. Gave the handball across quickly. Kennedy.
Teddy Richards, you never thought Teddy Richards would take the mark of the day.
Lloyd goes into the middle of the ground. Goods wants to play on. Got himself into all sorts of trouble though. And he didn't use the right option there. Good use of the body by Isaac Smith. Out to another left footer in Lewis, who has some time and space and constructs it nicely.
Look at Hill just running freely.
Seems to be moving okay, Lewis.
Gunston took the mark, almost got 50, pumps the ball up inside 50. Grundy going back with pressure. Here's the man, Hill, who was by himself for an eternity. And he makes Sydney pay. The boys spotted it. Sydney couldn't. And Hawthorn has the lead by a goal. 3-2-20 to 2-2-14 after 17 minutes.
So talk us through that one, Billy. You saw Hill making his way down the ground.
Yeah, well, look, he started from the wing here, and it was out on the other side, and he just bolted down the forward line, and they really didn't go with him. He's coming off now. He's absolutely stuffed. But he has sprinted 200 metres there and got on the end of it and kicked the goal. So well done to him. Great running.
He's got the biggest tank at the Hawthorn Football Club. He's just overtaken Isaac Smith with the biggest tank, so he will run like that all day.
Thank you very much for joining us. Here's Jack Heverin today.
Jordan Lewis, as you mentioned, Terry, finding plenty of the football. 6 disposals early in this game. Spitwater stats powered by Kubota.
So the umpire put it down, and Mike Pike beaten this time by Hale, and here comes Hanbury, but doing it well. Shields got it to Lewis. Lewis of Hawthorn inside 50. Gunston, he was nearly held ploughed to the umpire. This is Grundy and big boy McAvoy over the boundary line. Right forward pocket members side city end. Here it is Hawthorn that lead at the moment by 6 points.
Shields' role very important. He's running with Shaw at the moment, so defensively takes him out, but he'll win the ball himself.
Pike and Hale and Pike. Pike now goes up, but also big boy McAvoy. Hale went for the mark, and he goes over with McGlynn to Kennedy to Hanbury. Got it off now. Smith, a long ball now. Tippett.
That's a free kick.
It's got to be a free kick.
Jeez, a big boy.
Tippett will take it.
He's had a terrific start. What are his Spitwater numbers, Jack Heverin?
Kurt Tippett, disposal number 4 coming up for here. Pete to go with 2 marks.
Too slow, so they all get around Buddy here, so it's going to be 1 on 3 nearly.
And Reed's going to fly as well. Got his hand to it. Almost came to Buddy at the back. Burgoyne. What about all that experience using? Lewis handled nicely. Gave it across to Mitchell.
That means Lewis had
7 disposals, Bill. Spitwater stats.
At Corky's all right.
Mitchell handball to Burgoyne. Has to get rid of it somehow.
No tackles.
Well, there was no tackle from Sam Reid. Now Burgoyne onto it. Off to Shields. Left foot. Spearing ball. Gunston at the second attempt. almost batted away from his hands, but he got it as he was falling, and he's straight in front, just where you'd want Jack Gunston to be.
If you're not going to tackle the Hawthorn Football Club, you will not beat the Hawthorn Football Club. Their skill level is too good.
What about the skills of Liam Shields on the left?
Brilliant.
He drilled that. You said he bulleted. It was a beautiful out in front kick.
He's had a really good start. That Burgoyne's work here across centre wing was great, but he just stepped his way through. What's he up to? He's up to 7 possessions, Burgoyne.
Rex anointed him early as possibly the best kick in the team, and it didn't work out that way. But from 40 metres out straight in front, you wouldn't want the football in the hands of anyone apart from Jack Gunston. And he's done it again.
Gee whiz.
Well, that is unbelievable. The most reliable kick in the team, and he's suffering from a few grand final nerves. Hawthorn 3-3-21. Sydney 2-2-14.
Great pressure.
Off the half-back line now. It was Malcheski, but Hodge has got it. Hodge went up and he can't take it. This is Mitchell. Mitchell to the right, then to the left. Left foot kick out there in front of Hale. And right over the top there. Wonderful Mark Grundy. And Grundy's taken it at full back. City end. Hand pass to Smith and got it off Malcheski. Malcheski. Wonderful tackle that is not rewarded.
Oh, should be.
Wonderful tackle. I don't understand the umpire's thinking there. It sure went bang with a spiral punt down towards Tippett.
Stay up, can't fall over, Tippett.
And he didn't. Brian Lake did really well though. Suckling, you're in trouble. He was tackled, put the ball on the ground.
No tackle.
It is just like you'd expect a grand final to be. Hodge with a handball over the top, eases the squeeze a little bit. To Burgoyne up to half forward, delivers it to Bruce. They want to move it on quickly before they can push numbers back. Into the pocket he goes. Rioli went one-handed. And should have used the other one, and it batted off his left-handed out of bounds.
Well, I still don't know how that free kick wasn't paid for the run down on Malcheski. It was a brilliant tackle by Hill.
That is. Why is that not a free kick?
Well, that is the definition of prior opportunity.
You're going to have to ask the umpire.
It was a greyhound racing Victoria chase of the day, no doubt.
After the throw-in, Hanbury barreled by Roughhead. Quick snap by Hodge. Vacant land, awkward bouncing ball. Gunston only has to stand up, and finally he kicks the goal he was after.
Hanbury down.
The vagaries of the Australian football. Awkward bounce for one. Favoured Jack Gunston, and the Hawks are out to a 13-point lead. 4-3-27 to 2-2-14 after 22 minutes.
The early days, Billy, but Sydney got some thinking to do, because at the moment the intensity levels of Hawthorn are far superior to Sydney.
Well, the tackles against, please, Jack.
Tackle count 15-5 Hawthorn's way, Billy. Spitwater stats.
Exactly right. So there you go. That's the intensity you're talking about, Terry. But they've used it so well too, as we know. They are a beautiful user of the ball, Rexy.
There's no doubt about that. Thanks for joining us right around Australia. There's nothing like AFL Live. The great team is glad you're on board, and Stevic, the umpire, put it down, and Hale got a fingernail to it. Coming through there, Parker, and it's knocked on by Hale to McGlynn. This is Goods that kicked the long ball down towards Franklin.
Got it.
Franklin's one-handed mark is an absolute pearler.
Look up and live.
Put up a claw, dragged it in, but this is a difficult shot. He's going to kick a check side, no doubt about it.
I don't know.
22 metres out. Well, neither do I, but you've been there.
Well, this is his pocket. He's normally running, but that's the only other problem.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they finished with a matchup of Lake on him. Lake will never take Franklin. They've got to stay with Gibson as that matchup.
Franklin bends over. Franklin stands up. He runs forward. He kicks a long point.
Yep.
Long point. Sydney 2-3-15. Hawthorn a 4-3-27. Our listening audience right throughout Gippsland and Lake Tyres down at the settlement of Long Point. Welcome.
And welcome to you wherever you are around Australia. Sean Burgoyne kicks it in. Lewis flies one-handed. Ball spills to the ground. Lake takes Lloyd down to the ground. Lewis did a very good job. Brilliant handball. Releases Mitchell away from the congestion. He just hooks a little ball inside to the running man. In Hill. Needs to get rid of the football. Eventually did. Mitchell there to mop up the mess. Handball through. It goes from Smith to Suckling. Suckling with a quick handball. Gibson kicking the ball up towards half forward now. Who's there? Bruce edged underneath the footy, and in the end Malcheski was able to come across and take what amounted to an uncontested mark, but it was a timely one.
Look at the pressure here.
Went off. Rioli came through, got rid of Richards. Over the top to O'Polo. Looking back, Rioli. Here comes Malcheski. Rioli Ragnar got it up. Gunston for a point.
1-3 is kicked.
It's amazing there. Hawthorn to 4 goals, 3-27. Make it 4-4-28. Sydney at 2-3-15.
Spitwater stats powered by Kubota. Sydney have had 4 turnovers in their own defensive 50.
Make that 5.
Yeah, because it was a short kick in for Cunningham, and Ben Stratton was awake to it and just came and fisted the ball over the boundary line.
They're all over it. They are all over him at the minute. They need another goal here.
Pressure's enormous from the Hawks.
They need to make hay while the sun shines. We're in the last 3 minutes or so. Pike wins the knockdown. Parker's got it. Langford's got him. Loose ball spilling around dangerously for the Swans, and they just get enough bodies there that they can negate the situation and stop the clock at 3 minutes and 2 seconds. 25 have elapsed.
Only one ever Hawthorn side have won back-to-back premierships.
88-89 it was, quarter of a century ago. Kennedy to Cunningham to Shaw, and Shaw tries to get it away from the danger zone. Goods didn't take the mark. Spanger did well. Up to Langford, off a step, and he speared it in. What about that? That was a gully catch from Luke Hodge.
Don't know if it was meant for Luke Hodge, but Teddy Richards saying the ball hit the ground level. Look at the replay very shortly.
No.
Let's have a look here.
He's marked it.
And he flung himself at the footy and marked it cleanly.
Come on, Ted, what are you talking about?
What about the Spanger effort over in the half-forward flank? Brilliant effort to win the ball back.
It was like Mark Schwarzer at his peak as he flung himself to his right and clasped the ball at the second grab. Hawthorn are well and truly on top in the grand final, but they need to get reward for effort. Luke Hodge from 30 metres out, tight angle, has sprayed it. And sprayed it by a long way. It only just got in for a behind. 4-5-29 to 2-3-15. It's 14 points the margin, but Rex, it's got the feeling of a game that's a bit more than that.
Well, if you just saw the game, you'd think, goodness me, 5 goals, Hawthorn. They are clearly in control. Here's Sam Duncan today.
Yeah, Brian Lake has just come off the ground. The doctor's having a look at his right knee. The doc went out to him about 5 minutes ago, and they had a discussion. He's come to the bench now, and they're in that deep conversation. So we'll keep an eye on that one, Rex, and get back to you.
Thank you, Sammy. Malcheski kicked it to himself. He kicked it outside towards Parker, and Tippett goes up. Parker got it. He went to the left and to the right, and his hand pass put pressure on Tippett. Here comes Gunston running onto it there. McVeigh got it off to Hanbury, got it off to Cunningham. Now Smith got it on further. Kennedy.
Well done.
Out of play.
Pressure.
Goodness gracious me, there's some pressure out there.
Oh, is there what?
15-7 inside 50s now. 15-7 Hawthorn.
Yeah. She's hot in the kitchen.
What's the tackle count now, Jack, for Spitwater?
18-6 Hawthorn's way, Pete.
Ball put back into play. Lewis flipped it over his head. Jeddah was crunched. There's the pressure again. Hodge just drove him into the ground. Umpire Matthew Nichols crosses himself and says, I'll put it in the air.
They've got him here. It's a big brother here, Hawthorn. They've got him right now. They need another goal before quarter time.
Third man up was Isaac Smith. Langford fishing for it. Kennedy couldn't get a clean disposal. Smith off the ground. Shark by Malcheski. Up to the wing. Bounces at the feet of Reed. He had a couple to beat. Burgoyne. What about his composure in the first quarter? Handball to Spanger was okay eventually. Now Suckling. He goes for the handball to the cult hero in Spanger. Looks up inside 50. Says, who's
He's
there?
been good, Malcheski.
The answer is no one. Malcheski. Thank goodness for him.
Oh, what's he had? He's had 8. Thank you, Jack. He's been very good. Gee, they're not...
Gets it off, gone.
Well, they just don't look like they're confident going out of the backline, Rex.
Gets it off to Grundy. Gary Rowan kicked it down, looking for Jeddah. Jeddah over the top now and coming through. Big boy McAvoy. The hand pass over the top, and this going to be Isaac Smith. Hawthorn kicked a long ball into a big leap. Rampy's at the back. It came out now. Puro Polo got high. Will Langford's kicked the goal.
There it is.
Will Langford has kicked the goal. And Hawthorn are well on top, leading into quarter time. The Hawks have gone bang, 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 bang.
We are
and they lead 5 goals by 35 to Sydney 2-3-15.
Well, when you consider, Billy, that Swans only concede 68 points a game, it's already 35 as we stand now and 10 scoring shots.
You're spot on. The only time, well, I think they conceded a bit more last time Hawthorn playing. They got 100, I think. But you're right, they're just all over him. They are in control, Hawthorn here.
On average in first quarters this season, Sydney has conceded 13 points. In the grand final, they've conceded 35 so far.
Should have been more.
And there might be more to come 2 because we've still got 30 seconds or so remaining. Umpire Matt Stevick will come in for a restart.
Well, realistically, it should have been more.
Look at this down here. There's 3 Hawthorn backmen and 1. Adam Goods is the only Swans forward, so he's just put numbers around the ball to just stop it.
Jack with a handball to Parker. He was slung as he kicked it. More pressure from the Hawks. McAvoy, long way to bend down. Trying to work their way through. Lewis just wanted the football more than his opposition in Parker. Dived on it and held it up in the middle of the ground. And that will stop the clock at 12 seconds.
I reckon you might hear John Longmire up here. Quarter time.
Lewis split open. He just threw himself into that pack. Just opened himself up across the cheek. That's the price you've got to pay on Grand Final day.
That's the way he goes about it.
Very good too. He's had 9. He's been very good. Thank you, Jack.
12 seconds to go. Jordan Lewis is just coming up to Sam Duncan. There's a fair bit of claret on that right cheekbone, Sam.
Yeah, there certainly is. He's tough though, and he'll come off and they'll patch that up. He'll get back out there after quarter time. He's getting a round of applause as he comes off. The Hawk fans are up and about. They sense they are right on top here, boys.
They are on a mission.
Hawthorn on average has scored 25 in first quarters. Today it's 35. Free kick goes to the Hawks. They move it on quickly. Shields bangs it in. It'll come to Richards at the back and he'll relieve the pressure and the siren will sound and the Hawks fans will go up as one. What a quarter. Sydney led by 6 points at the 13-minute mark and Hawthorn replied with 4 unanswered goals. And at the first break in the 2014 Grand Final, the Hawks are on top and they're on top well and truly. 5-5-35 to 2-3-15. Goals for Hawthorn to Hill, Gunston, Bruce, Puopolo and Langford. And for Sydney, it's Kennedy and Franklin. The Hawks lead by 20. AFL Live, thanks to McDonald's. And that has taken them to a 20-point lead at quarter time. Hawthorn 5-5, Sydney 2-3. If you're rushing to the tote or picking up the phone to place a bet, think of what you're really playing with. There are so many ways to get help. It's free, confidential, and it works. Go to gamblershelp.com.au to find out more. This is the 2014 final series on AFL Live, powered by Red Energy, a 100% Australian electricity retailer. Call 131-806 or visit redenergy.com.au. We'll get the thoughts of Terry Wallace and Billy Brownless in a moment on the first quarter. Let's get the second term of the Grand Final underway with Rex Hunt.
Thank you very much. And the umpire went bang, and this is Hodge. He was taken about there by Buddy. Mitchell got it off now. But a long suckling kick went inside towards the half-forward line. Gunston's there, so is Puopolo and Langford. Brought it across his body. Kennedy and Bruce. Kennedy, Bruce. Bruce went through. Kennedy did okay. He's now on the square here. Pass it back to Malcheski, who got it on now. It went over the top there. Lloyd, and back to Malcheski. At outside 50, this is Buddy.
Wonderful spoil by Gibson, but it finished up in the hands of Shaw. Now a chance for Sydney. Through the middle of the ground, they can cut them up. And it's the former Hawk in Ben McGlynn playing in his first Grand Final who goes goalwards and gets it all the way there. And that is an important statement early on. Inside the first minute of the second quarter, the ex-Hawk, Ben McGlynn, comes up with Sydney's third goal, and that might inspire something. Sydney 3-3-21, Hawthorn 5-5-35.
Well, it was much better corridor movement, wasn't it? They had players running from behind through the middle of the ground for the first time. From the 13-minute mark of the first quarter until they got that ball inside the forward 50, it had been 14-1 inside 50s up until that stage. So
they dominated the quarter.
There's a lot that had to change, isn't it?
Yeah, they dominated. Enormous pressure on the Hawks. Dominated that quarter, but that's exactly what they needed, Sydney. And as you said, they had numbers through the middle, and Ben McGlynn just pinned his ears back and said, bang, we need a goal.
As Peter said earlier, the length and breadth of Australia, and in fact the globe is listening. This is Mitchell, got it off now towards Hodge. He kicked it inside over the head of Puopolo. The ball now in the hands there of big boy McAvoy to Gunston. Gunston of Hawthorn, a little chip kick, and here comes Mitchell, and big boy McAvoy brought into the side to do just this, have shots at goal from 42 metres out directly in front of the punt road end.
Yeah, again, that little chip 15-metre pass that they're so good at. Gunston just chipped it into the middle of the ground. There's about 3 Hawthorn blokes who could have taken it.
Mitchell, or probably Mitchell they might want. But interesting this, we thought McAvoy would push back and stand in front of Buddy, but he's virtually played forward most of the game.
He's kicked 6 goals, 1 for the year. He's kicked 6 goals, 2 for the year. So Sydney breathe again. They're 3-3-21. Hawthorn 5-6-36. Malcheski stands in the goal square and goes bang, and he's looking out there and finds Kennedy.
It's a beautiful kick too. It only got about 3 or 4 metres off the ground, and Kennedy outside 50 now looks up and sees a lot of one-on-one in front of him. So he's going to try and look for Tippett, who breaks away from his man. Terrific spoil by Lake. Trying to twist his way through Jack. Their tackling intensity has been magnificent, and Luke Hodge joined the party that time, as if to say to his teammates, this is the way we need to go about it, right through until the final siren. And that's the way they've done it so far. Jordan Lewis, Sam Duncan, you can probably get a good look at him. He looks like a battling warrior down there at the moment with that cut.
Yeah, they patched him up, and here he goes. He's back out there and into it.
Yeah, and he did brilliantly. Gave it to Mitchell.
Been good, Mitchell. Out the full, they're saying, but no, above the knee.
When you get split open like Lewis has, to just keep putting your head over the ball, it's a tough thing to actually do. I mean, when you've had to go and get stitches or certainly have some work done.
Umpire flings it back into play, right in front of the interchange gates.
There's more Hawthorn numbers there, aren't there?
Now Mitchell takes advantage of those numbers. To Langford, back to Spanger. He comes backwards, Birchall on his wrong side, so he wants his left foot, and he did that well, and they didn't read that particularly well. Now Mitchell,
hefty here.
Well, it should be.
Well, the umpire played the mark, and McVeigh came in, or Reed, and tackled him.
Well, I'm not sure. Everyone on the ground heard the whistle. And all of a sudden, Sam Reed's just taken upon himself to run at Sam Mitchell and give up a cheap 50.
Crazy stuff. Mitchell is starring in this game.
He is. And you picked him. You liked him, Tez.
No tag. There's not a natural tag. And if you don't tag Sam Mitchell, buyer beware.
Man on the mark's been brought to 45, so Mitchell will need his best kick.
Left or right foot?
He probably looks like it's shaping with a... What is it? Left foot. He's kicking it with the left foot.
Gee whiz.
And he's hit it well, but he's hit it left. And they are letting them off the hook here. They're 15 points in front of the moment. Make that 16, and it should be a lot more than that. Hawthorn 5-7-37, Sydney 3-3-21.
Why is he kick on his left foot there from 45 when he's a right footer?
I think he's got a bit of an issue with his right leg. So and he has had like most of the season.
This is Jetta, and he got it out now towards Nick Smith. He kicked it outside 50. It's punched away from Hanbury. Wonderful play there by Bruce. Playing for the umpire. It went out now with a hand pass over the top. Gunston got it off big boy McAvoy. Back to Bruce. He went one way and then the other, and here comes a big lead. Rioli. He can't take it, but running onto it, Bruce. Bruce got the head high tackle. Bruce won't miss from here. Goodness gracious me.
Oh, he's a bit sore, Luke Bruce here. He's a bit sore. He caught one in the head. There's a knee to the temple, I reckon, there.
He actually put his head into Rampy. There's no doubt, but it's still you can't come at them like that and make contact with the head.
Just don't know what Rampy's supposed to do, but as you say, Plough, that's the law.
Well, I suppose it's if you're first at the ball, you got to get the benefit of the doubt, Rex.
So Sydney can go 22 points down from a straight kick by Bruce, who's already kicked one. The man on the mark is standing. Well, let's give him 30 metres. So Bruce will kick this from 37 metres directly in front, and he's kicked a goal. It's a goal. And Hawthorn are 22 points ahead, and Bruce will come off as Hawthorn 6-7-43 lead Sydney 3-3-21. My goodness me, Hawthorn look good.
Well, I thought they got the match-up wrong. You've got Luke Bruce had scored over 50 goals for the year. Your best small defender is Nick Smith, and you play him on Rioli, who hasn't played for 13 weeks. You had to put Nick Smith, your best defender, on the best small forward, which is Luke Bruce. So I just think they got that match-up wrong.
Inside 50s, 4-1 this quarter, Hawthorn's way. Spitwater stats powered by Kubota. Sam Mitchell's had it 4 times this quarter.
Umpire restarts, and it's a bit of a skew with bounce, but it stayed inside the circles, and Pike did his own roving, and then it was smothered by his own man, Lloyd, who put his hands up in the air. That's the way Sydney's day is going. Umpire Simon Meredith will come in and restart. Let's go down to the boundary line for Spitwater. Sam Duncan. Luke Bruce came off with a bit of a headache after that goal.
Yeah, he did, and the doctors have had a quick word to him, but he's convinced he's fine. I think he'll just rest, and you'll see him back on in a minute or two.
Mitchell, Birchall, Suckling, and now Langford collaborating, and he takes the ball and runs with the hair flowing in the breeze. Clean bowl was Reed. Comes to the back of the pack. Grundy, desperate stakes, has to clear the ball out.
Downfield.
And it will be a free kick going to Hannah.
I tell you what, you got the feeling when Bendix breaks big moment here. If Hawthorn kick another goal, it's going to be hard for Sydney to come back and win.
Jared Roth got the free kick away. Turnover, Hanbury.
The big boy's going well.
Right to McAvoy, back into the team. Jonathan Segler looking on today. Here's Birchall trying to draw a man towards him. Then he takes a bounce and goes for one of those worm-burning kicks up towards 50. Rioli, lightning handball. Puopolo stands up. Rioli, second effort. Grabs the football. Nick Smith grabs him. Good perseverance. Now Shaw dispossessed. Rioli trying to gather. Melcheska's been the Rock of Gibraltar down there for Sydney. Rampy kicks it out with a panic kick. McAvoy's got it and it's coming back in.
Goes short to Gunston. Gunston, no, it's Suckling. Suckling's marked at left half forward. Far too far out to call. Here comes Ruff. Suckling will go half forward. Get it Gibson. Gibson on his own. Hand past Birchall, wrong side. Went short down there. Oh, Mitchell. And Mitchell's marked it. 44 out and he goes to Hale. And Hale is marked. 42 metres out. 38 metres out, the man on the mark. Hale, one sock up, one sock down, will line it up to put Hawthorn in a magnificent position.
27-8 short kicks. They just that little chip kick. They just chop them to pieces with that.
They have today. Bendix breaks big moment here.
A huge moment, a humongous moment, as we all watch David Hale line it up at the punt road end, directly in front. It is a goal. Sydney are on their knees. I know it's early days, but Sydney don't look anything like a premiership side at the moment. Hawthorn do. They're 7-7-49. They lead by 28 points over Sydney, 3-3-21.
And that is a big lead. It's warm here. The boys will look up at the scoreboard. Some of them look tired. They look slow. Unbelievable. It's not a Sydney side that we're used to see here. They haven't got numbers to the ball. They're second for the ball. They just need a spark. They need something. Now, who's going to give them that spark right now?
Mitchell, 14 possessions. McAvoy's had 9.
That's a good call, wasn't it?
AFL Live, thanks to McDonald's and the TAC, and there's McAvoy again, down to Lewis, to Mitchell, to Birchall, to Suckling, wrong-sided, somehow found a way to get through though.
No tackle.
The handball off to Birchall, he goes to Hodge, Hodge gathers cleanly, off to Langford, 49 metres out, on the run, they're irresistible!
Where's the fat lady?
Langford's kick two, and the Hawks are barnstorming their way with one hand on the Premiership Cup already at the 10-minute mark of the second quarter. 8-7, 55 to 3-3-21, and Buddy Franklin can only stand at the other end and look on in disbelief.
Unbelievable. What about Suckling? Was it through the middle there?
Well, no tackling, and we said it early in the first quarter. They didn't want to tackle. It's 27-8 inside 50s now. Yeah. If you don't tackle Hawthorn, you don't win.
Inside 50s this quarter, Billy. 8-1 Hawthorn's way. Spitwater stats.
And that one, Sydney kicked the goal, luckily.
So that's 21-2 since the 13-minute mark.
Hawthorn have Sydney on the ropes, going for the knockout punch. This is Hodge. Ran to half forward, coming through Gunston. It's tough, it's rugged, it's life or death. The ball comes out there by McVeigh. It went down towards the half forward line. Picked up by Suckling. Long ball, Rioli into the goal square. Rioli now Richards. Richards has got it. It went out Gunston to Rioli. It's kicked a long point out of bounds. It is tough, it is rugged. It is amazing football by Hawthorn, who are barnstorming to a premiership. 8-7 Hawthorn, Sydney 3-3.
We just saw a shot on the Carlton Draft replay screen of Chris Langford, 300-game warrior for the Hawks, and a very proud father today. His son with a couple of goals. Ball comes to the back. Parker looking for Grundy. Roughhead got it instead. Good smother. Rebounded to Shields. Handball to Roughhead. He was by himself, and so was Luke Hodge in the goal square. And if this goes through, you suspect that it might just be too big a task even this early in the grand final. Nothing is going wrong for Hawthorn. Everything is going wrong for the Swans, and some of it is their own making.
It is 40 points.
Luke Hodge from point blank range. He kicks his first, and believe it or not, Hawthorn's lead is 40, and we're at the 13-minute mark of the second quarter. Terry Wallace and Billy Brownless on AFL Live, thanks to Tatsbet.
Well, you can believe it, because I think we were 10 or 12 minutes into the game, and you could see the intensity that Hawthorn were playing at, and the lack of intensity for a grand final. I've got to say, lack of intensity that Sydney were playing with. I mean, this has just been a mission by the Hawthorn Football Club. They wanted to let people know that they weren't just a Buddy Franklin team, but this was a team in its own right, and they've shown everyone today.
The numbers must say that too, Jack.
Inside 50s, Billy, 9-1 this quarter. Sam Mitchell's had 7 disposals, Birchall 6. Spitwater stats.
Numbers show, Jack, that they can't come back from here.
Yep.
And here they come again. Hawthorn now got it out now towards Mitchell, and this is Lewis. Lewis hand passed it to Hill. Hill to half forward, and here comes Roughhead over his head. It went out now Langford, but Smith of Sydney got it to Mike Pike, got it to Hanbury, got it to Malcheski. Malcheski in the late afternoon sun goes bang, but big boy McAvoy did it beautifully. Running onto it is Hodge, who got it off now towards Suckling. Suckling went bang to half forward, and this is McVeigh trying desperately to lift his side, but they've got nothing. This is Franklin. Now this is going to be a long late kick to half back, and Birchall's got it.
They're doing as they please, the Hawks.
Jenner still down.
14-minute mark of the second quarter. Birchall's kick up into the path of Shields, who got things started early on. Good contest from Goods. Great tackle that time by the Hawks.
Too high.
Too high.
Jenner still down on that outside. Big Ben McAvoy ran into him. Play on.
And it was Stratton who tackled, and Reece Shaw was the man who apparently was taken high. Where did that go?
Boundary.
Out towards the boundary line, and that is indicative of what they're doing at the moment. They can do no right.
Here's Jenner and McAvoy. Great work by Ben McAvoy. Just glided into Jenner, and he just got up now.
Hasn't he? Had a presence, McAvoy.
And Jenner hasn't.
Might turn out to be an inspired move. Here's Goods trying to inspire something to McVeigh. Handball was smothered by Burgoyne. In the thick of things is Hill. Dispossessed, and then the ball spills out to the racehorse in Isaac Smith. Hits the turbocharge. Off he goes. Handball to Puopolo. He ducks around like a slalom skier at 48 metres.
Misses.
Oh boy. He missed to the left. This is an avalanche in the grand final.
Sydney cannot do.
Didn't lay a hand on them. Did not lay a hand on them again.
Oh!
Going to turn it over, and Hodge has gone bang.
Where is he?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon. And Hawthorn have gone bang. 10-8-68. Sydney 3-3-21. In one of the most ruthless destroyation, air conveyance assassinations I have ever seen.
Well, if you want to know that it's a guarantee for Hawthorn, when you've got your skipper who's played his 250th game, kicked 2 goals in a row, it is over, Rex.
And it's got to be demoralising for Sydney. They're trying to get something going. Goods through the middle of the ground, but Burgoyne first out there. Dropped the mark. Here's Franklin. Taken to the ground. Good tackle was by Suckling. Bouncing ball spills to Tippett, who tries to give a handball off. Nobody home.
Numbers.
Stratton gives it to Bruce, and Bruce gives it to Hill. And the speedster is out. Look at the run of Stratton over the top, running to receive the handball. Ball sets up obligingly for him. Gives it back to the runner in Hill. Looks inside the corridor. Bouncing ball sits up nicely. Gunston.
No tackle.
No one near them. They can't get close enough to tackle at the moment. Stratton to Langford. Down it comes. Here's Kennedy looking to inspire something.
Great chase.
Here's Lloyd. The chase came from Puopolo. Now Richards at half-back defensive edge of the centre square, and then some. Kicks up to half-forward. Out comes Tippett. Started really well. Franklin's got the man in the hole in front of him. Now he goes on the zigzag lead and tries to come out short. Tippett, Alexa, bang it.
Good luck.
Oh, there you go. That sums up their day in a heartbeat, and it's gone out of bounds. Luckily for Sydney touch, but he just tried to bang the cover off it.
Who was that short? Cunningham, was it? He's not happy at all. He was on.
And finished up missing by about 20 metres.
So the ball now spinning back into play. The ball now deep into attack. Sydney need a goal like I need a hair. The ball now came out. Now Lewis got it off to Hodge, and here's McGlynn, who goes for a goal, but it went to Bruce, and Bruce to Hodge, and went off further. Isaac Smith, he tackles Kennedy wonderfully well, and this is Jack. Jack kicks it forward, and here's Goods. Here is Goods. The Australian of the Year will kick a goal in what may be his last game, but you never know. Sydney need this goal now. I think it's all over. I agree with the weight challenge lady, but I just think there may well be a spark if they can just go in at half-time about 6 goals down. So Goods at point blank range, he comes in and he's kicked a goal. He's kicked a goal, and on the AFL Live McDonald's and TAC scoreboard, Goods has got his first. Sydney remain 10-8-68, and Sydney are 4-3-27.
If Sydney want to win, boys, they're going to need to rewrite history. The biggest comeback from at half-time in a grand final is 40 points. That was in the 1970 grand final. 44, sorry.
Yeah.
44.
Where's Teddy Hopkins when you need him? Well, the one thing they have got is they've got the firepower to do it.
They have.
If they can get enough supply.
What about the low numbers? Give us a couple of low numbers from Sydney. We need a spark here.
Gary Rowan, 1 disposal. Lewis Jetta, 1 disposal. Sam Reid, 2 disposals. They've both been handballs. Lance Franklin, 4 disposals. Jared McVeigh, 5 disposals. Spitwater stats.
And on the Carlton Draft replay screen,
got to bring that back.
There's going to be a recall bounce here. Carlton Draft replay screen, and Ruffy giving it to Buddy, his old mate.
He's never been shy, has he, Ruffy?
And today's a good day not to be shy, especially if the scoreboard looks the way it does. Hale down to Mitchell. Again, they get a centre clearance. Langford, well done. Nicely done by Smith. Goes back, takes the mark, and hits the ground running. Here's Goods, the goal kicker, out there on the wing on the Great Southern stand side. Sydney going left to right as we look at it. Kick wasn't great for Lloyd. Didn't do him any favours. Now the youngster's got a problem. He got a high one. Just a little untidy from Hawthorn. And so Sydney with an opportunity to get it inside 50 again.
The 2 key players for Hawthorn, Hodge and Mitchell, that we spoke about it before the game, they both starred.
Lloyd, long kick. It was Lake who found the front spot in front of Franklin, spilled off their fingertips and out of bounds. Scoreboard is a very pleasant one if you're a brown and gold supporter. Hawthorn 10-8-68, Sydney 4-3-27. 20 minutes have gone in the second quarter of the 2014 Grand Final.
Clearances 9-3 Hawthorn's way this quarter.
Sam Mitchell's had 5 of them.
The ball spinning back into play, deep into attack. Sydney knocked on by Goods and running onto it Kennedy. Here comes Hodge, and it is behind the stick.
Hit the post, so it might be a throw in.
Yeah, it's going to be a throw in. So Hawthorn at 10-8-68 and Sydney at 4-3-27. Thanks for joining us from McDonald's and the TAC right around the globe. The ball in the arms of the umpire, and he flings it back in and right over the top there. That was Mike Pike. It went down to McVeigh, but he overran the ball. Gee, that didn't look over good. The ball now knocked on by Lewis to Mitchell, and Mitchell's got it over the boundary line and out of play. And the field umpire said, yep. Just throw it back on there. I think he called him Phillip, but I don't know. And Hawthorn at 10-8-68. Sydney at 4-3-27. And Sydney into attack. Right forward pocket. City end members side.
Phillip it is. Phillip Jones, the boundary umpire, who puts it back in, down in front of Pike. And now Lewis launching the ball out of the danger zone. Up towards half-back. Puopolo twisting and turning and getting away too easily. And kicks around the corner. Might have been a little bit of hold going on between Rowan and Hill. Volleyball spike. Finishes up in open spaces. Another great tackle by Mitchell on Jack. Now Hanbury's got it for the Swans though. Kicks up in the Franklin direction. Brilliant stuff by Lake. He was off balance and somehow he was able to affect the spoil and get the ball to the line. That was a piece of defensive brilliance.
It was indeed. Well done, Brian Lake.
And Mitchell's had 9 for the quarter. Hodges had 7 for the quarter.
And 2 goals.
And 2 goals, exactly.
22 minutes have elapsed. We've still got a long time to go here, nearly 7 minutes in the quarter. Lewis again knocking up, getting the football under pressure, and he was able to gain 40 metres or so and tumble the ball along the line and eventually over it in front of the MCC members on our Carlton Draft replay screen. Alistair Clarkson looking cool enough for the moment, and the horse John Longmire is hoping that the horse hasn't bolted.
Donis, that's a 68 points now that normally they average per game, the Swans.
Knocked out by Parker, went to Kennedy. They're all Sydney, and this is Hanbury, right foot, but he's wrong foot. The half-forward line.
That's a look up and live.
Wonderful mark there by Birchall.
He's been very good as well.
Grant Birchall, a 200-game dual premiership player, may well become 3. Went back to a man playing his 250th game, and this is Hodge. He went back to Lake. Lake now used to be called Harris, but he likes Lake better. The ball now in the hands of Lake, and he's told to play on, and he went on further now towards the half-back line. Now this is going to be Stratton, and Stratton gets on to Mitchell like he's got the bubonic plague. They've given him more space than they've given Burma in the 1931 Melbourne Cup, called by Peter Donegan. It went out there by Mitchell and went on now to Hill, and Hill with the blue boots has got the ubiquitous Hill tag here today.
And Mitchell has just come up with disposal number 18 for Spitwater, powered by Kubota. Down on the deck, Hale was after it. Kennedy got it instead. Finished up in the hands of Hanbury. Smother was a beauty. And Hawthorn are going to turn it over again. It was Mitchell with the smother and Mitchell with the relieving kick to Shields, who goes for a stroll in the afternoon sunshine on that one day in September and kicks towards McAvoy. Bit too tall for him. Reid didn't hit the target. Luckily for him, Richards was able to gather the handball and bring it out to Shaw, who goes short with his kick up towards half-back, and Sydney have got the mark through Lloyd out in front of Suckling. He tries to direct the ball through the corridor.
Good run, Shaw.
Grundy uses that run of Shaw, kicks up to a one-on-one and half forward. Spanger and
free kick.
And they're calling it a Hawthorn 3.
Thanks, Kieran Jack.
And it's going to be the cult hero, Matt Spanger, who will take the kick. He's gone backwards, and Brian Lake has fallen over. Kieran Jack can make them pay. Lake went in and made up for his error. That is one of the Greyhound Racing Victoria chasers of the year.
That is it.
He just couldn't kick Kieran Jack with his right foot. Had to go on his right side.
So Lake now got it off to the half-back line, and this is Isaac Smith of Hawthorn outside towards 50 and over the boundary line. In the years to come, that'll be like a Shaw smother, all these things, a little toe poke by Scarlett. That was a fantastic effort by Lake, who is juicy-fruited.
He is.
And the umpire has thrown it back in. Advantage is paid here. Kennedy took the advantage and kicks long. Franklin! He's got it! At about the fourth attempt.
Got to pay it. Oh, it's on.
And the Hawthorn defender took the odds to nothing, thinking that it may not be a mark because it's only 2 metres out from goal. It was Lake who put him to the ground.
I reckon another one after this, and no more scores for Hawthorn, and I think it's game on. So just stick around, will you?
Franklin from point blank range. She's still here. Might be having a sausage roll at half-time and coming back to visit us. Sydney 5-3-33. Hawthorn 10-8-68. The margin is 35. Franklin has kicked his second. We've played 25 minutes and we've still got 4.5 to go in the second quarter for Tatspet, Billy Brownless and Terry Wallace.
Well, it was an infringement from the throw-in from Hale that sort of set it up. And what happened was they called the advantage, and the Hawthorn players weren't ready for it. The ball got out the back of the pack. They were able to get it in deep.
A great mark too, by the way. He had Gibson, he had Lake, all trying to belt him and knock the ball away. 4 juggles. As you said, Brian Lake is juicy-fruited. He's come off for a spell.
Boy, oh boy, wowee. Enjoy it while you can. And the ball now back in the centre. Here comes Sydney again. Oh, pulled up the ball, and now this is Tippett. Got it up to Franklin. Franklin on the left wing went bang with a long ball down to a lead further up Jetta. Jetta Stratton, Jetton. Here comes over the top Gibson. Gibson did it well and went thump to Hill. The ubiquitous Hill has got it right half back flank.
And he is a great talent. Lewis Jetta is a great talent, but one's having more impact than the other.
He's not today, Jetta, is he?
No. And the coach will be having a word to him at half-time. He has to lift. Free kick to Rioli here. He looks up at half forward, has a couple to choose from. Rough head. Might be about 5 metres too far out to score.
But they'll look for that little short pass that you're talking about, Tez.
Who's going to run the angle and try and get it?
Well, Russ can have a ping, is he? Play on.
He's told to play onside, pops it up to the kickoff line. Hale is there. He's going to be the jumper. Brings it to ground. Lewis in the goal square. Handball to Puopolo. He's got no way through. Did he get it high?
Point.
Umpire said no. And that was nicely done by the Sydney defence.
Rowan.
And it was Gary Rowan who forced Puopolo over for a rush behind. 10-9, 69-5, 3:33, 27 second quarter.
Well, he hasn't done much either, Rowan. Great game last week, but the pressure and the heat of the game has caught up with him here today.
Well, one game is littered with blokes that's happened to.
Yeah.
The ball now in the hands there of Malcheski. Kicked it outside 50 and big boy McAvoy went up. This is Jeopardy. Hand pass, look away. But beautiful Rioli to Roughhead. It was as quick and as swift as I said. Big boy McAvoy to Cyril Boy from Melville Island. Out of the corner of his eye, rough from Liam Gather. He'll line it up to go bang from 40 metres out.
That's what Cyril's there for. A little deflection. That's all you need just to win the ball back. Another little 15-metre chip kick.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Well, they're away. Hanbury had it and he was away. And just a little deflection.
Roughhead from 40 metres out has gold.
They needed that.
They needed it, but they're 42 points in front. And Sydney, again, on their knees. Just hanging on. Sydney, 5-3-33 here today. Hawthorn, 11-9-75. Sam Duncan for Spitwater today. Boundary side at interchange.
Yeah, Cyril Rioli just comes off. Brian Lake down there. He's had a good rest. He came off absolutely exhausted around about 3 minutes ago, as you called. And also, boys, Josh Gibson was down in the ruins for about 5 minutes earlier. He had his right boot off. He had a lot of tape on that right ankle. Nothing too serious. He's come back out and he's back on the ground. And as I say, that Brian Lake just ducking down into the room.
How sharp was the deflection from Cyril, Rexy? Brilliant.
Just amazing. Game changing. But the game's already changed.
2.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Hawthorn in command. And the umpire's going to have to put that in the air again after a wrestle between McAvoy and Tippett. Developed into nothing. Third man up, Lewis.
Thought Ruffy was going to give Junior a kiss.
Mitchell, Lewis, McAvoy, Burgoyne, and now Stratton getting their hands on the football.
Mitchell
Wide he goes. Hung in the air for a while. Gave Hanbury the opportunity to spoil Hill. Hill did brilliantly. He picked his pocket.
Cheddar, you got to run, Cheddar.
And off he goes, and he takes on Parker and says, I've got your measure.
Cheddar.
Decides to hook it inside to Suckling. Now Burgoyne has runners inside. Lewis, too much time and space. Kicks towards Shields. McVeigh is there. Malcheski playing a lone hand down back for Sydney. Gave it to Grundy. Grundy's kick, not great. Cunningham, just for once, got an obliging bounce. And then he goes with an inside-out kick. Very, very dangerous stuff. Reid takes out the lob wedge and chips it to Malcheski, who is the only one of those Sydney defenders who can hold his head high.
Well, he is. He's the only one that's got the nerve here because Reid is playing a loose man, but he's not a loose man player. He's got very nervous today.
Like rabbits in a spotlight. Skidding as he kicked at Malcheski. Big boy McAvoy takes the mark, gets it off to Birchall. He now went to half forward, and this is Hale. He punts it out, but Lewis on the check side. He's kicked it to the edge of the square. Here's Sydney. Reid thumped it away. Bruced. Goal, says the umpire, and he said yes it is. It is holding the ball. And Sydney are going to relieve the squeeze, but they're 42 points down. They're 7 goals down in a 16-goal ball game as the ball comes around the face of the goal and goes there to Malcheski, who gets it out, and Reid takes a sprawling mark just on 50.
17th disposal for Nick Malcheski. Reid's kick tight on the line. Hanbury's got the mark. Inside the last minute, well inside the last minute. Jack will take the mark. One last assault for Sydney, and here they go. There's room for Parker. And he goes long to Buddy, and Buddy, he had his hands to a free kick, is it?
No.
Well, Buddy turned around thinking it was going to be a free kick.
So did Hodgie.
Luke Hodge might have thought likewise.
Look at him.
And the two great mates come together. And the ball has spilled over the boundary line in the interim with the clock stopped at 19 seconds.
Good work, Luke Hodge. Great work.
Hodgie stopped. He thought he'd given away the free as well.
He did, yeah.
Can they get a last-minute goal? Shields had it for a while. Umpire hovering and says, I'll put it in the air. And that's burned a few seconds off the clock. 10 seconds remain. Hawthorn leads by 42. It would take one of the great comebacks in grand final history, going all the way back to 1970 if they're going to get this done. Spanger tries to get it out of the danger zone. Hill was there, Langford is there, he takes the tackle and he tries to give the handball. Umpire still hovering, siren will sound. What a half by Hawthorn. They are a magnificent team. We've seen that so many times over the years, and they've picked a very good day to emphasise that point. The Hawks lead by 42 at the main break. 11-9, 75 to 5-3, 33. It's 2 goals to Hodge, 2 to Bruce and 2 to Langford. Singles to Roughhead, Hill, Gunston, Hale and Puopolo. And for Sydney, 2 goals to Franklin and singles to Kennedy, McGlynn and Goods. When we come back, Tristan Fernanda and Chris Connolly will be along with the halftime show to work out just exactly
I can't find Craig Bird anywhere.
Okay, Craig Bird obviously did start as the sub.
He's out there. There he is there. He's out there, number 14.
Yep.
So he is out there, so there is a sub.
Jack hasn't come up yet on your screen.
So not officially with champion data,
Lloyd.
boys. Keep you posted with that.
All right.
Might be Jeddah.
I think it's Jeddah, boys. Obviously, he received a knock and came off in that second quarter.
That's very generous.
Yeah, I think it's more to do with other things apart from the knock with Lewis Jeddah. So
Exactly right. Exactly.
So they've gone early at half time. So Jeddah, I'm just looking to see where he is with the vest.
I don't know if he's come up, has he?
Indeed, it is him.
All right, we'll check in with you, Sam Duncan, shortly. Here we go, 42 points to margin, the AFL Live 2014 Final Series, powered by Red Energy.
Buddy on the wing.
Can Sydney mount one of the great comebacks in grand final history? They're going to have to if they hold the cup up today. Pike wins the first tap, down to Parker. He's got nowhere to go. And this time the ball in dispute. McAvoy finished up with it, and it'll be a throw up.
Don, it's just those numbers that Jack just gave us. 8 Sydney players, 12 kicks.
Incredible. Yeah. And the two who've got the most disposals between them, Malcheski and Kennedy, have more than 20% of the team's disposals. Pike kicks it forward. Stratton did nicely.
Got him.
Gibson, good tackle. That's better.
Yeah.
Bird, the sub, comes in and impacts early.
Well, surely you don't have to wait for the sub to do that.
And it is Bird driving it towards the kick-off line. There's plenty flying for Hawthorn, but they had the numbers on the deck as well. And it's Lewis who just punts the ball out of there and kicks up towards half-back. Bruce was the intended target. Free kick.
He's been great, Malcheski.
And it'll go to Nick Malcheski, who's coming up to disposal number 18.
Probably wouldn't get rid of him.
What about the punch from McAvoy?
Spitwater Stats powered by Kubota. Inside he goes. They're looking into the setting sun. Burgoyne's there.
Numbers.
And he gets it to Lewis, and Lewis with a disciplined kick towards the boundary line. Hodge dived over the top of it, and the ball went underneath him and out of bounds.
He did dive over. It was like in the field when you dive over and it goes for 4.
Benny McGlynn's now tagging Sam Mitchell. Too little, too late.
Left half forward, Sydney. Members side, punt road end. Wonderful play. Smith went out to Mitchell.
The intent
now
there.
This is Bird to Malcheski. Kick the spiral punt down towards Tippett. Wonderful play late. Tippett over the top. Hill got him. Wonderful tackle. It was a David and Goliath. And the umpire will go in the home and away series. That was ball.
Well, you said it, Billy, the intent's there from Sydney. They've shown more intent with a couple of their tackles than they showed in the whole first half.
Exactly right.
Ball's inside 50. Tippett's there. Gets the handball to Bird. Kick was smothered. 30 metres out. Still a scoring chance. Not now, though. Puopolo clears it out and gives it to Suckling, who loves to run and carry, and that's what he's going to do. Takes 2 bounces and gets a good shepherd from Puopolo as well. Cute kick around the corner by Suckling. Finds Shields. He's not sure what to do with it, so he goes to Suckling out wide and says, keep running. Jack goes after him, brings him to ground. Suckling may not have had the footy. Umpire allowing them to play Simon Meredith, and now they get in there and create a stalemate. Umpire will put it in the air. It is left half forward for Hawthorn, and there is no change to the halftime score. Hawthorn 11-9, 75. Sydney 5-3, 33.
The ball now in the hands.
Free kick.
It's a free kick down.
Hawthorn.
It's going to go to Bruce.
What about Craig Bird has already passed by 3 Sydney players. The stats.
One of them would be.
Can't be within a bull's roar. They've all got a lift or it's gone.
Well, we've been going 3 minutes and he's passed players who've played an hour.
Just not good enough. Ashamed. The ball now. Bruce, long ball down. Rough. Right over the top now. Richards can't get it. Mitchell to Rough. for a goal. Point. Easy, Rexy. Sydney 5-3-33. Hawthorn 11-10-76. It's a 43-point advantage for Hawthorn as McVeigh kicks it out to the right half-back flank. And marking is Teddy Richards.
Ted Richards playing in game number 231. One of the veterans of the competition has made such a great success of his move to the Harbour City. After being a bomber, he goes short to another man who made a move, Josh Kennedy. And he made a move from the team that he's opposing today. Here's kick, too big for Reid. Turnover again. Gunston, Bruce. Now Shields, who's had a good day on the left foot. And just when I said he's had a good day, comes a rear blemish under pressure. Kicks the ball out on the full. Oops, just a little altercation there between Mitchell and Ben McGlynn, which was caught on the Carlton Draft replay screen. It's Kennedy looking inside the corridor. Very nicely placed kick. McVeigh, defensive edge of the centre square, takes it and goes and kicks across the centre square, and Spanger says, thank you very much, and takes what turned out to be a contested mark, but it was pretty easy. Gibson had some medical issues early on that Sam Duncan was telling us about. He takes the mark. He brings it in short. Isaac Smith has got it. Played in the grand final in the VFL after about 5 games for Redan in country footy. Hill comes inside. Shields dispossessed. Lewis, underground handball. Puopolo, Isaac Smith, wrong side. Kick with his right foot. You don't see that too often. Up to the 50. Big mark. Look up and live. Mark of the day by the big Canadian in Mike Pike.
So Pike, left half-back flank. They need to get a move on Sydney on the scoreboard. They trail by 42 points on the AFL live scoreboard across the nation and in fact the globe. This is Hannaberry, near enough centre wing. Will pump it down past Sammy Duncan towards the left half forward flank member's side. Buddy going up now. Tippett has marked it. But Tippett's got it. Now he's going to go thump. He nearly vasectomized Rioli. It went off to Hale. It went on to Lake. To the half forward line, Gunston. Knocked on towards Will Langford. Will Langford went inboard towards the half forward, Gunston. He'll tighten it up. Rough.
Got it.
Roughhead marks it, and Roughhead right here and right now will put this to bed to the tune of 48 points. And even the bloke that played centre half back for Jerusalem won't come back from this.
What about the smother from Cyril?
Roughhead to put it to bed. Roughhead. Wagons! Ho! Liam Gaffel lights up. Hawthorn light up. Light up the stage. Hawthorn are home. 12-10-82. Sydney 5-3-33.
Well, you called it, Billy. That's why you play Cyril.
Yeah.
That deflection, the deflection over the other side from Tippett, the smother down here. That's 2 goal assists already that he's just created from nothing.
What about
that's why he's got to play.
What about Langford? How impressive, and his pace. And here's the ball. Well done to Willie.
He's only playing in game number 20. Looks like he's a finals veteran the way he's handling it.
Played as many finals as his old man.
Here goes Matthew Nichols, who whacks it down in the middle of the ground. Pike down to Kennedy. Couldn't get his foot to the ball because of the Bruce tackle. Off the ground, Hodge finished with Gibson now to Birchall. Inside 50. Gunston just piked his body and wouldn't allow the man Rampy to come from behind him. And that was simply perfection. When you get to the front spot, you just guard where the foot he's going to drop, and that's what he did.
Peter Hudson type.
Beautiful mark.
Put the bum out, got the bum in the road, turned his body, takes a chest mark.
Well, Sydney were never going to get back, Pete, because the fact is that Hawthorn know it. Won't take no reason to take the foot off the pedal. They're going in for a big kill. This is their kill.
This could turn into a 1 hour long celebration of the premiership. Gunston from 50 metres out hits it well. Gunston's kick too. And the Hawks must be thinking about what they're going to do at the celebrations of their premiership tonight. It is 55 points the margin.
Unbelievable. Well done to Gunston. Just a very, very good side. Been so impressive, haven't they? In the middle, the work in the middle, and big boy McAvee, he needs a pat on the back. That is a really good decision to include him. He's been outstanding. Jordan Lewis there, Mitchell. Now Ruff says, give me a go in the middle. I've been up forward and haven't seen a lot of it, so give me a run.
Well, Gunston was second best on the ground last year's grand final. He's had 5 scoring shots a game.
2 goals, 3.
2-3.
Yep.
This has been a piscatorial, lifelike football assassination as they come again. It went to the right half forward flank for Hawthorn and Hill. Hill now plays it on in front of himself. Breaks a tackle on McVeigh. Gets it to Puo Polo. Here comes Pike. Here comes Grundy. Here comes Jack. But Will came through Langford. And pass over the top to Gunston. On the left boot, the boy from Beaumaris went bang. And here comes Rowan.
No, Gary.
It went out over the top there. Nearly a go there to Raya.
Got to go.
Sydney now with Gary Rowan went bang with a bounce.
Keep running.
Bang with another bounce, but he lost it.
Well done.
Broke the tackle. Kicked a long ball in towards Tippett. But it might yet be a goal. It's not. And Lake did well. This is one of the most impressive destroyations of an opponent I've seen in grand final history. Hawthorn by 55 points.
Just looking at the Carlton Draft replay screen, Ben McAvoy copped a knee in the solar plexus at that last centre bounce. Tapped over the back by Pike. Mitchell threw it out. Hanbury also threw it out. And Jack stands there and off one step kicks a consolation goal. Kieran Jack brings up goal number 6 for Sydney. Well, I think the throws cancel each other out there. And it's Sydney 6-3-39, Hawthorn 13-10-88. So the margin is 49 and we've played 10 minutes in the third quarter. Billy Brownless and Terry Wallace for Tatsbet.
Not looking nice goal by Jack. He just kept persevering and they just worked hard as a team to keep that ball in there. If you got a ticket on Jordan Lewis for the Norm Smith medal, you're not out of it by any stretch. He's up to 23 now.
So what's Mitchell again?
Sam Mitchell's had 20 disposals. Bill Spitwater stats at 85%.
Yes.
Has had 5 clearances. Jordan Lewis 23 disposals, 6 clearances. He's a Shell Hardest Worker nominee.
Hadn't he had unbelievable 2 months, 3 months, Jordan Lewis?
The ball now back in the centre and it's knocked out by no one. Went to Tippett and now Hanbury. A long ball by Jack towards half forward towards Franklin. And Franklin's marked it against Gibson. He wanted 50. But just let me say, for those in the box who have been there,
bleeding. Got to come off.
They've been there and they've had this done to them. What Julia and Kevin did to the country without Bass. You just play until there's nothing more in your being. You play until your lungs burn. You play until your ass drops out. And you never give in. And that's what Sydney are going to come and do now. So Franklin, he's kicked 2. The man on the mark is Hale. He stands at 46 1/3 metres. Franklin told his time's up and he must move on. He comes through 55. He kicks it from 52.
That's a goal.
And he's kicked a goal. 3 goals to Franklin at $3,333,333.33 rounded out to 35 cents a goal. And Sydney 7-3-45 trail Hawthorn 13-10-88.
Well, Billy, it was Kieran Jack out of the middle again. He's lifted his performance. He was really poor in the first half of this game, but has lifted. Franklin's handled it. He's handled the situation. They just haven't had supply to it.
Well, inside 50s, please, Jack. Total inside 50s for Sydney right now.
21, Billy. 39-21, Hawthorn's way.
Well, it was something like 15 to half time. You know, it's just not getting enough
he's had 4 scoring shots out of those.
Yeah.
You're listening to AFL Live right around Australia thanks to McDonald's and the TAC. The 2014 AFL Grand Final. Peter Donegan, Rex Hunt, Terry Wallace, Billy Brownless in the commentary box. Jack Hebron with stats. Sam Duncan on the boundary line. After a restart where the players weren't able to get the ball away from the centre circles, it moves about 5 metres. Oh, a bit going on here. There is a bit going on and the umpire's plucked out a free kick.
Buddy's playing for it.
And Buddy not too happy with Jordan Lewis standing on the mark. Something's got to happen for Sydney. And Franklin, the man who's kicked 3 goals, comes up with a free kick in the middle of the ground. Goes short to Grundy. And he's got an absolute massive humanity in front of him inside the 50. Tries to pick the lock, and he kicked into the man on the mark instead, and Sean Burgoyne went without it. And then Lloyd poked it inside 50. Lake magnificent.
Look up and live.
Brian Lake has already made his mark on a grand final 12 months ago, and he's made another one there.
And I'm sure there is a Lake Magnificent somewhere.
Yeah, well,
that was it.
If there's not, we'll rename one.
Hodge to Mitchell, and Mitchell's got the ball, and they're just trying to slow the tempo down a bit now.
So Hawthorn at Lake Magnificent and Sydney up Shit Creek without a paddle. Here comes Sydney. Hawthorn again. Stratton kicked the long ball to Bruce, and Bruce has marked it deep on the left half forward flank. Deep on the left half forward flank, outer side of the ground, City end. Suckling said, give it to me, and Bruce said, I'll have a shot.
He's confident, Lukey Bruce here. Another chest mark.
So Bruce
got too much room today.
Comes in from 52 metres and puts it on its way. And this is a long, long point. Hawthorn's 13-11-89. Good year for Hawthorn. Second part of the back-to-back. Sydney 7-3-45. Outside 50. Punch back in towards Roughhead. Roughhead's there on a high tackle. High tackle or Roughhead.
Sorry, boys, just quickly, Lewis Jetta back on the boundary. He's off with the concussion rule, so we'll know more at the 20-minute mark if he's coming back.
All right, thank you to Sam Duncan for Spitwater. Lloyd spreads it out. Rampy just with a little fake, and then the kick was terrible. Kicked it straight to that man, Lake Magnificent, who goes to Burgoyne, who in turn goes to Gibson. Tumbles the ball. Not a lot of purpose in that kick. Bird probably should have done better. Roughhead while he was laying down. Fantastic stuff. Hodge to Hill. Now Bruce on the boundary line. Treading along. Kicks to the hot spot. Rioli is there. Puopolo is there. Suckling is there. And Suckling makes them pay. And the celebrations are going on behind the goals at the City end, all across the MCG, and right throughout the length and breadth of Australia if you're a brown and gold supporter. Hawthorn 50 points up again, 14-11-95 to 7-3-45 after 15 minutes.
Well, I don't know what was more clever. Was it Ruffy laying on his back to kick the ball up, or the tap? The tap by Mitchell was brilliant as well. That was Bruce running inside forward 50 by himself again. He's just had far too much room today.
And the further it goes, the further Hawthorn go in front, and the further Sydney slip into the quicksand. They have tried everything, but Hawthorn have come here today invincible. That was the thinking, and here they come again. Diving on the ball out there was Suckling. Ploughed to the umpire. It went to McGlynn. Kicked the worm bird at a half forward. Reed got it off Cunningham. Cunningham here passed it over to Bird. Here comes Goods. And all they're doing is matching it goal for goal, but they need a real spray of 4 or 5 unanswered goals, and it won't come. It can't come because Hawthorn have made up their minds that nothing, but nothing will stop them in their quest to go back to back. Goods from 41 metres has kicked the point. Sydney 7-4-46. Hawthorn 14-11-95.
In the history of grand finals, and this is the 119th, there have only been 8 occasions where the winning margin has been more than 12 goals, and it's looking on the cards here today. The margin 49 at present.
What were the Hawks to win by 72 points?
I don't know. Maybe you might have to ask Chris Connolly, because he was thinking it was going to be a big margin. Look at that. Everything's going right for them. Suckling kicked a mung.
Another chest mark.
Well, that's what happens, because you get in front and the luck rolls. Your people call it luck, but it's actually football smarts.
Straight into the hands of Gunston it went. Backwards they come. Late back to Suckling, the man who delivered it originally. And then he's worked himself into trouble and worked himself out of trouble. Kept his hand. Good composure. Gave it to Spanger. Spanger's on the great southern stand side. Here we go.
Look at Hill.
He'll hit the turbo here. Listen to the crowd lift. Here comes one of those grand final moments that we might remember for a long time. A sprint along the wing and delivery down the throat of Roughhead, and Hawthorn are doing as they please.
just pace again. He's been outstanding. Hadn't had a lot of possession. What he's done with that breaking of the lines, and well done, good pass, looked up, and Ruff knew he was on. He loved it, Ruff. And just another chest mark to a Hawthorn forward.
16 disposals for Brad Hill, 88%, one of Blackwood's most efficient.
Jared Ruffhead for his 73rd goal of the year. It is going to be about 45 minutes of celebration. Not often you can do that in the grand final, but Hawthorn can just soak it up. 15-11, 101 to 7-4-46.
Well, I'll give you just a couple of the things that they'll be celebrating. Luke Hodge becomes only the third ever multiple premiership captain for the club. He comes in now alongside of Don Scott and Michael Tuck. Alistair Clarkson, with 3 premierships, goes alongside of John Kennedy Sr. and Alan Jeans.
Yeah, unbelievable. Great names there. And they deserve it, these boys. Their last, 5, 6, 7, 8 years have been outstanding with Hawthorn Footy Club.
And they ain't done yet. They're in the centre, and here they come again, Langford. Clean bowled was Lewis and went out to Malcheski. He kicked the sprawling kick of Wormburn at a half forward, and here comes Lake, but Jack one in. He can't get it now. Hand passed over the top there by Stratton. Stratton kicked it off the ground with a Wormburner. Here comes Gibson, got it off to Lewis, and Lewis down at the Spanger. Spanger to Mitchell, got it underground, hand pass to Lewis, and going out and marking it over there is Birchall.
Let's get down to Sam Duggan on the boundary line for Spitwater. Has Lewis Jetta got the red vest on yet, Sam?
No, he hasn't, but I see the red vest is out. I think it's Lloyd that has the red vest on. Jake Lloyd out for the rest of the game. Lewis Jetta coming back into it.
Way down the ground here, and it's going to go the way of Luke Bruce. So they're starting to lose it in all sorts of ways here, Sydney. Bruce goes to Smith. On the run, you'd almost back Isaac Smith from here with the man on the mark at 50. He's going to have to kick 55. He's going to pop it into the corridor to Jordan Lewis, who is all by himself. How was that allowed to happen?
He's playing some sort of game as well.
Coming up to disposal number 26 for Spitwater.
Now, if that's a mark inside 50, everyone was worried, and Chris Connolly said it at half-time, about they got sucked into Sydney. The marks inside 50 now are 15-5 Hawthorn's favour, and everyone's talking about the big fellas.
That's right.
Jordan Lewis.
Easy chest marks, a lot of those.
Battered and bruised. Kicks from 52 metres out, and that is among. And it's landed 10 metres out. Here's Langford, always dangerous. Ball comes to ground. Shields picks it up, and then Malcheski, who's worked with a bit of intent back there, and he can hold his head high. He's had 20 disposals, and he negates the situation. Just having a look on the Carlton Draft replay, a bit of action going on off the ball between Reece Shaw and Brad Hill by the look of it.
Certainly was. It's deep into attack for Hawthorn. Lewis got a hand pass across there. Over the top there by Lewis again, and Ruff went bang, but he went illegally, according to the umpire down there in Meredith. And Simon Meredith gave the free kick to Nick Malcheski. So Malcheski went bang out towards Reed. Goodness me, Jack Hebron, there's some blanks on some of these stat sheets for the Sydney players.
Certainly is, Rex. Gary Rowan still had 2 disposals. Dane Rampy 4. Jared McVeigh's probably the shock of the grand final, really. 6 disposals.
And looks slow.
And you are remembered for these games. You're remembered for greatness, but you're remembered also when a side has greatness against you.
Yeah.
Now this is Hanbury. Got it across there to Mike Pike. Here comes Rampy in trouble. Had a fresh air shot there, McGlynn.
That's a free kick, Hawthorn.
It was very well called, and Isaac Smith will take the free possession.
And he'll bring it backwards to Luke Hodge, who had a bit of a problem with the sun, but was able to grab the ball on the second attempt. 15-metre kick to Mitchell, who's been magnificent, as you'd expect. He goes to Lake, the Norm Smith medal winner. Hill's got some space to run again if he wants to go for a gallop. Instead, he'll draw the man towards him, and then he'll put the burners on, and he won't take the man on in front of him. Took a couple of bounces and then kicked into vacant land. We're looking for the boundary. Malcheski trying his heart out, has a little fumble back to Grundy, and Grundy stepped over the boundary line.
Just a panic handball.
Hasn't done much wrong today, Nick Malcheski.
Well, if you also think that it looks like Nick Malcheski playing his last game with the Swans, I mean, he's been their best player.
Gee, keep him. He's been outstanding.
Pike palms it down. Parker taken forward in the tackle. Reece Shaw off one step, Ted Richards to nobody, absolutely nobody. And Brian Lake takes the easiest mark he's ever going to take in a grand final. Off to Gibson, who gives it to Hodge, and Hodge looks up and says, instead of playing on, I'll just take another 5, 6, 7 seconds off the clock.
Beautifully read. Read my lips, no bush. Sack to Cook and hold my calls. The call went out now to Gibson, but it went now towards Birchall. Short kick, Lewis. Lewis turns around. Where's Ruff? Here comes Bruce. Bruce went up at the fall. The ball, Parker. Parker now looked to the side. Went now clean. Bowled was Kennedy. He might have been pushed in the back by Langford, but Parker came around. It went to Langford, and Langford kicked the goal. Langford has kicked one of the goals. One of the most freakiest goals you'll ever see.
Look at him.
And my goodness gracious me, football pedigree by his father out of his mother, by Longhorn out of control, and Hawthorn go to 16-11-107. Sydney 7-4-46.
And who did he take the ball off? Football pedigree, Josh Kennedy.
Exactly. But that is unbelievable. He's had a great game. Well done to Langford. He's been really, really good. But again, a couple of panic handballs. Parker back to Kennedy. They just panicked there last couple of minutes.
Will Langford, 13 disposals, gone at 69%, had 5 inside 50s, has kicked 3 goals. He's a Shell hardest worker of the day nominee.
Somehow, with the way that Hawthorn's day is going today, you just knew that that ball was somehow going to find a way through.
He wasn't getting the game early either, was he, Langford?
After the restart, McVeigh gets a rear disposal and pumps it up inside the 50. Gibson looping handball to Hodge, back to Gibson. And they work with the numbers. They've got a numerical advantage, and they always have had right from the word go today. Lewis slung in the tackle. Gibson tried to get a little bit cute, but Mitchell got in there and fetched the football. Gives it back to Hodge, sweeps it out to Lake. Lake looks up ahead of him and tries to spear the ball in low, but it runs away from Luke Bruce this time as he gets away from Nick Smith. Bruce comes off for a breather. And there's plenty of love going on between Luke Hodge and Buddy Franklin. Just looking on the Carlton draft replay screen. And Hodgie
takes us back to Dermot.
Has given him a little peck on the cheek.
Now, that last piece of play. Hodge, Mitchell, Lewis. Super. Absolute super.
The crowd have just seen the kiss on the big scoreboard.
So the ball now spinning back into play. Knocked out by McAvoy. Went down Mitchell on top of the ball like a fox terrier after an eaten sandwich at the tip. And the umpire will go in.
So, Rex, we've seen 2 things today we didn't expect to see. We've seen Luke Hodge kiss Buddy Franklin, and we've seen Billy Brownless throw his underwear at Sir Tom Jones.
Goodness me.
He's using it for a hammock as we speak.
Complete with the old snail trail. The ball came out now to McGlynn. McGlynn kicked a long ball down to
good mark.
Tippett.
Good mark.
He's taken a very good mark. And you know what? Lake is dirty. And isn't that just what you want to see?
Oh, dirty Lake.
10 goals, 1 in front. And Lake's got Scheisenhausen's because his opponent's taken a mark. So at $5,616 a touch, here comes Tippett. He comes in, he wobbles, he goes bang for a goal. That is his first goal for the grand final, Tippett. And he's certainly not going to tip him over the edge because Sydney are 8-4-52 and Hawthorn 16-11-107.
Well, how do you think Brian Lake would have felt, Rex, when the phone went 18 months ago and he picked it up and it was Hawthorn? They sort of said, we'd like you to come across and play with us.
I liken that to Weller ringing me up and saying, we want you, Rex, to be the face and head of our hair products.
And 2 years later, he got a full set of hair. Because he's going to win 2
premierships in 2 years.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, he's got a thing called Brian's Bargains, and it was Brian has been a bargain.
Yeah.
What a player he's turned out to be in back-to-back premierships. Burgoyne's handball in the direction of Isaac Smith. Buddy up in the middle of the ground, and Cyril got him. Lay a tackle on him. Reece Shaw hacks the ball forward over the defensive edge of the centre square for Hawthorn. Gunston all the way back there, stood up in the tackle, and then Stratton just throws his body at the football. Cunningham goes in and lays a strong tackle. Good sliding in. He just avoided contact below the knee, and that would have given away a free kick to the man who finished up with the football. And that man down at the base of the pack is Jack Gunston, Mr. Interchangeable.
Look at the Hawthorn players run into this ball up. They're just everywhere here.
They're working beautifully well, and this is Cyril. Cyril Rioli came out of the pack and went bang down to McVeigh. McVeigh's taken a mark, runs into the centre and kicks a long ball down towards Tippett. Wonderful mark by Lake. He is a senior citizen's dream.
Lake Magnificent.
He changed his name.
Yeah.
He's Lake Magnificent. Exactly. And a long ball outside 50 down towards Rough. He put a claw up, but here's Isaac Smith. And over the boundary line and out of bounds, and the Hawthorn throng in front of Sam Duncan rise in unison. Sammy, what a day for Hawthorn.
Oh, it's been absolutely fantastic, and their fans are in party mode now, and Taylor Giray just wants to get on. He's got the green vest on. He's been running up and down. His time can't be far away.
Now after the throw in, and again it's nose over the footy, and who's that? Is that Shields down the base of the pack?
Yeah, he just threw himself into it. It's beautiful.
The only bloke enjoying this more than Sammy is David N. Green. Watch the ceiling fan, David.
Now here's the to Buddy inside 50, and he shanked it, and Evel isn't it? And Josh Gibson has free kick.
That's all right. No, it's a free kick to Sydney here.
Yeah, it'll go to Buddy because Gibson came in late after
Kurt Tippett will get it.
Shanked the kick.
And Buddy will get it.
And it'll come back to Buddy because the ball went out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, but if I'm Gibbo, I'm taking that every day. Just to give him one back at this stage.
There's no need for it, but you're right.
55 points, that's a freebie.
I'd wear it. I'd wear it every day of the week.
Buddy's taking a nice dive.
And most of the people there giving it to Buddy have got about $7,000 each on their bank card, and they're trying to pay it off. He's got the car, the bird, and the money.
Well, I don't know how it can be Tippett's free because it went out of bounds on the full, so normally the ball would come back. But
Billy
anyway,
Brownless.
Here's Tippett around the corner, and he's missed to the right.
I was going to say, Billy, the money or the box?
I'll take the money.
Thank goodness for that. 16, 11, 107 to 8, 5, 53.
Because the other one comes along then, Billy.
Well, maybe a couple of them.
30 minutes have gone, and we're getting a bit loose here in the last minute of the third quarter.
I'm going to have to go and let one go. The ball now off the half-back line. This is going to be Birchall. What a good player he is to Langford. They're all good.
Look at him.
He broke the tackle. Football royalty kicks it down. Malcheski will mark it, and Malcheski will take it on the right half-back flank and kick it off now down to Bird. Bird is the word. And over the top, he'll get it down now towards Shaw.
Bird, the substitute, carrying the famous number 14. Bobby Skilton will probably be here today. And the kick comes to Tippett. Got it from Reece Shaw. We're inside the last 15 seconds now. That's an up and under yucky kick. And down it comes. Able to be fisted away by the Hawks. And they'll just be quite content. But Hodge wasn't content there. He just wanted to be first to the footy in front of Rampy and make sure the ball got over the boundary line and stop the clock at 7 seconds. So with every siren, Hawthorn fans have been able to get up and exercise the vocal cords. They led by 20 at quarter time. They led by 42 at half time. The lead is going to be 54 at 3/4 time. And the premiership is in the bag. 30 minutes from glory. 30 minutes from doing what only the greatest teams can do, and that is win back-to-back premierships. Hawthorn 16, 11, 107. Sydney 8, 5, 53. The margin is 54, and we'll be back for the final quarter of the grand final, the final quarter of the 2014 season. On the other side of the break, you're listening to AFL Live, thanks to McDonald's and the TAC.
He's on a mission, and everything that I've seen today has suggested exactly that. And the way that the game started, their intensity early, they haven't really dropped off at any stage at all. They've just been absolutely brilliant.
The big fourth quarter for Big Four Holiday Park's about to get underway. A half-hour-long celebration for the Hawks. Australia's one big country. The best way to see it is with Big Four Holiday Parks with 180 locations. They've got Australia covered. The umpire, Matthew Nichols, holds the ball aloft, and we're about to get the final quarter of season 2014 underway. And it's just a matter of estimating Hawthorn's winning margin of victory, a winning margin of triumph in this big game to decide the 2014 premiership. Sydney looking to get the clearance. McGlynn's kick partially smothered. Jetta is out there. And let's hope that he's able to have some sort of impact in the last quarter. He lays a tackle on Suckling, not before he got the kick away. Up to half forward. Knocked on by Richards, but Hawthorn finish up with the football. Gibson gets it again. Bruce got a man in Smith. Smith's got a man in Bruce. And he just marks it as easily as you like inside the forward pocket. And the familiar cry goes up. Luke Bruce.
Who is on him, Terry? Because we've seen him, 5-6 times, just get out on the 8 like that and take a chest mark.
Yeah, well, every time Rioli's in the forward line, Smith goes to Rioli, and it's been mostly Shaw on Bruce. He just hasn't been able to go with him.
He's just about the dead eye of the competition, Luke Bruce, and from the pocket, he doesn't let anyone down. And starts this last quarter of celebration in the best possible fashion by coming up with Hawthorn's 17th goal in the first minute. Brewster's got 3. Hawthorn 17-11-113. Sydney 8-5-53. Big fourth quarter for Big Four Holiday Parks.
Well, it didn't make any difference, Billy. I think it was the wrong matchup from the start. I thought you had to risk Rioli and play Shaw on a Rioli and play your best defender on the best forward. It's kicked over 50 goals for the year. But look, it would have made no difference to the result of the game.
17 goals, unbelievable. You thought Sydney might kick about 16 or 17 with their big forwards, but again it's been shared around as it has all year. You just take your hat off, you dip your hat to them.
28 scoring shots to 13, and that says it all as Sydney lead by 10 goals. And as Hawthorn lead by 10 goals, and Hawthorn come again. This is Gibson. He got it out to Mitchell. Mitchell was all tied up, and Kennedy, who's played his backside off, will start thinking now in terms of a Norm Smith medal, gentlemen.
Jack, give us some stats, please.
Jordan Lewis has had 29 disposals, boys. Luke Hodge 24, Sam Mitchell 24.
Goodness me, in your 250th game, you go back-to-back premiership captain and you have 24 disposals.
And a couple of goals.
Amazing, and really goals that really counted, not that they all don't. This is Grundy, and he sees it over the boundary line and out of bounds.
Well, Rexy, Hodgie's got a chance to go to rare air as a double Norm Smith medals. Gary Ayres, McLeod.
Goodness me. And may well become, if he does get it, the only dual premiership captain and dual Norm Smith. Gee, I'm smart. This is Malkesti. He kicked it out in front of McVeigh. McVeigh's got Smith, but now Smith doesn't help him. McVeigh kicked a long ball and down to Franklin, and Franklin goes up, but so too did Stratton. Stratton now saw Franklin hand pass, but this is Suckling, and Suckling will see it behind the stick. Hawthorn remains 17-11-113 to Sydney 8-7-55, and now it's Suckling who kicked it out. The rebound comes, and this is a long point which has been kicked by Rowan. Sydney 8-7-55, Hawthorn 17-11-113.
Cyril's coming towards you, Sammy. Just keep an eye on him, mate.
He went down in that lunging tackle on McVeigh, stayed down for a long time. But it doesn't matter.
He's done enough.
Yeah, exactly right.
Have a spell.
Taylor Duray still waiting to be activated. Here's Jetta, who was examined under the concussion rule in the third quarter, but he flies one-handed, and the ball just followed him, and he snapped, and he missed. And the cheer goes up because he's snapping to the end where the Hawthorn cheer squad is.
He's been all right, buddy. He's been all right.
Competitive.
He's
3 goals, 3.
Yeah, giving them something, giving them a target.
Well, it's been down their precious little, Billy.
Yeah, inside 50s, Jack, for Sydney.
48-32, Hawthorn's way, Bill.
32.
Spitwater stats, powered by Kubota.
The average is about 55, and they've gone in a grand final 32.
Yep.
Birchall short to Gibson.
Gee whiz, wowee.
Gibson short to Lewis with that big mouse under his right eye.
Gone.
Came off bleeding, and he finds the target in Stratton. Stratton thought about the handball to Birchall on the drive-by. Instead, they just played keepings off. Gunston gave it to Birchall, who provided the run. And then he kicked up towards half-forward just for once. The kick wasn't great. Roughhead made it look good, though. Gathered the bouncing ball. Rampy stuck at his task, and that's holding the ball. And well done to Rampy.
Hang on, it's 52.
It is a 50 metre
Burgoyne dropped the ball. How many marks? Gunston and Bruce. And a lot of those are easy marks.
Jack Gunston's taken 5 marks. Billy Luke Brewster's taken 4. Spitwater stats, powered by Kubota.
And Rampy coming up to disposal number 5, Rex.
And it was a hand pass to Malcheski, who kicked a long ball down and going up as Tippett. But Spanger is there with Gibson. Gibson got it to Spanger, and Spanger to Lewis, and Lewis got it on further now towards Burgoyne. Watch this count. It went off to Langford, and Langford's marked it.
They like him.
They do.
Oh, I love him.
Thank you very much. The long ball down towards a big lead there, Gunston. Rampy's there. The hand pass to Bruce. It went out now to Mitchell. Mitchell went inboard now to Hale. And Hale has taken the mark on centre wing. Hand pass to Langford. He said, goodness me, Mayor of Hiroshima.
And there was a bit of a hole going on there. Should have been a free kick to Gunston. Instead, Shields finishes up with the football. Good tackle by Rampy. Pressured the kick. It bobbles up inside 50. Gunston taps it down into the path of Bruce, who somehow kept it in play. And then he checks the ball up into the pocket. And it was Smith and Jack doing battle, and they both went up one-handed. Bit of holding going on with the other. Out of bounds it goes at the punt road end in the left forward pocket.
Jordan Lewis, 31 disposals, 11 contested, 3 tackles, 6 clearances, 5 inside 50s.
That's going to put him right in the frame, Billy, with those Spitwater numbers for the Norm Smith medal.
Gee whiz.
Nathan Buckley, the chairman of the committee. That might have been a high one. It was. Umpire on the spot. Umpires haven't had too much to worry about today because it was pretty much in the book throughout the second quarter. Free kick went to Jack. He gave it to Grundy. Dangerous kick.
Cyril.
And Cyril just did make life hard for Nick Smith, but he took the mark anyway in the left back pocket of the punt road end.
There we haven't seen much of Hanbury or Parker tonight.
No, we haven't.
Today, have we?
So Smith got it across now towards Kieran Jack. Jack's got nowhere to go. He kicked a long, long ball down towards forward line, but taking the mark there is Stratton. Stratton now gets it off to Hodge. Hodge, magnificent. Got it to Mitchell, magnificent. All Hawthorn players.
All we need to do is get it to Lake Magnificent.
And here it is now, Gibson, magnificent. Hand pass to Hodge, magnificent. Long ball down towards the left half forward flank for Shields. Shields gathers it in. Goes to 40, Ruff. And Ruff has taken it. Rough head from Liam Gather in South Gippsland. The left half forward flank. Lake Magnificent hugs Rioli, Melville Island, and they are home.
Cyril's done.
Cyril, yes, boys. Cyril's been given the red vest. Taylor Duray goes onto the ground for his first run at the 7-minute mark of the last quarter, and Cyril takes the red vest. He'll sit the rest of the grand final out.
Rough hit for 4 goals. I think it's a goal. I'll just wait for the signal. It's a goal! It's a goal! And Hawthorn go on to 18 goals, 11, 119. Sydney, 8-8, 56, brother.
Yep.
Well, this is a massacre.
It is.
It's an absolute massacre.
Embarrassing, isn't it, for Sydney? What has Parker had, please? Parker and Hanbury.
Luke Parker's had 16 disposals. Billy Spitwater stats down. Hanbury's had 14 disposals. Both gone at under 55% by foot.
The last time Parker played against the Hawks, he had only 15 as well.
Did he?
And Jack, just check the Spitwater stat sheet, but by my reckoning, there are 12 Sydney players who haven't had double-figure disposals. You could just confirm that. That is extraordinary.
I can remember coming away from that game against Hawthorn sort of saying that's the worst I've seen Parker play for the year. He's followed it up again.
Spot on, Pete. 12 players, 12 Sydney players yet to have double-figure disposals.
That is incredible in a grand final. Mitchell gets the centre clearance, nearly the mark to Hale. Couldn't break it in. Malcheski has tried his heart out from the word go because the ball's been down there with him a fair bit today. Richards diving on top of the footy and the Hawthorn players going in with just the same endeavour they showed at the start of the contest, and that's the reason why they are 63 points up.
What's Will Langford had again, please? Because he's a little smoky for a normie, isn't he?
Little shell hardest worker, Bill. 16 disposals to go with 3 goals and 6 tackles.
Hanbury's handball to Malcheski, who drives the ball up near the centre. Mark is taken by Kennedy.
Nowhere to go.
A fair bit of the football, but all to no avail. He comes out wide. McVeigh has got Shaw on the overlapping run, and he uses him. And Shaw's going to have to kick from 55 metres out. In the pocket is Goods, and he takes the mark, opposed to 2. Plays on and kicks the goal. Is that maybe his last goal in football, Adam Goods? Is he going to pull the pin after? Well, it would have been a great way to bow out with a premiership, and maybe that fire might still burn for one more season for him. He's kicked a couple, and Sydney have kicked 9. 9-8-62 to 18-11, 119, and the margin is back to 57 at the 10-minute mark.
Well done, Nick Malcheski, across half-back again. He started that. I mean, he has been the one Sydney player that really has just held his own all game, fought hard for everything that's come his way.
No doubt about that. He was very, very good early. And Adam Good's there, as we see Cyril in the jacket. He's done enough. That is a good selection. I wasn't sure about it. They're all hugging now. Ruff and Cyril just having a nice little hug there.
And a little tear.
A couple of tears, yeah.
An emotional tear. And good on him.
Hodge
now kicked a long ball down towards half forward. Wonderful mark there. Taken by Grundy. He got it across there to Shaw, and Shaw's kick is Scheisenhausen. It went out to Mitchell. Mitchell came through with Lewis. Back to Mitchell on the left boot. Long ball down towards a big boy, McAvoy. And the mark taken by Gary Rowan. Went off to Reece Shaw, who kicked it out in front of Duryea. Duryea comes out. He'll now look to handball over the top now to Hodge. Hodge goes short to Gunston.
There's your medalist.
Gunston's over the top. And now he can't get it, but Reece Shaw did. It may well be... What's that?
3 kicks he's missed.
Sure. Hand pass by Reed. And for every winner, there's a loser and a disappointment. But you'd think now that the panel would really seriously look at Luke Hodge.
Yes, I agree.
Back-to-back premiership captain, 250 games, and a dual Norm Smith medalist. Go.
28 disposals, 9 marks. He's spit water stats. Birchall.
He just won a hit out then.
To Duryea.
Bye.
Kicks the ball inside 50. 2-on-1. McAvoy batted it down. How good was that from Gunston with the inside out kick? But Gary Rowan was awake to it, and he's starting to get some late touches after not seeing it early on. But he's had a few mates today. Wide he goes to McVeigh. McVeigh looks into the centre to Hanbury, and he takes it without breaking stride and gets onto that trusty left foot and kicks up towards Franklin. There's a hold. Free kick. Franklin had the jumper held, no question about it.
It's very, very small. I know you can't do it.
But the minute that the jumper comes out from the body, the umpire will pay it.
It didn't affect the marking contest at all, because Lake was magnificent.
Just the easy one for the umpires, isn't it?
He's kicked 4, buddy.
He kicks it straight over the goal umpire's hat, and so he's kicked a goal in each of the quarters against his old mob, but no joy today. Franklin's got 4 of 10, and Sydney have 10-8-68, and Hawthorn 18-11-119. We played nearly 13 minutes. Big fourth quarter for Big 4 Holiday Parks.
Well done, buddy. He's really tried. He's given them something. We hadn't seen a lot from Tippett. He started well. Just had no one else down there. As you have a look at the scoreboard, only 10 goals kicked. So this just a great team effort once again by the Hawks. And you're right, Chris, we were sucked in. These so-called experts that said Sydney were going to win and win easy.
Some of us.
An X is an unknown quantity, and a spurt
is a drip under pressure.
Thank you very much. Read my lips, no bush. Sack the cook and hold my calls, and the umpire put it down.
And here comes the scarf out. Look at him. He's got the Hawthorn scarf out in the background here.
And here comes Lewis, and running in to take a chest mark is Hill. So Hill now will go back to the centre wing and get it off to Birchall.
Well, I have a few mates now that go up to 3-time premiership players.
Listen.
You boys.
And what about the investment that the Sydney and you have had? I thought you might have been a bit maybe barracking for Sydney a bit more, Tez.
Duryea gets it to Gibson. Just talk amongst yourselves, you idiots. And the ball now on the hands of Gibson, and he went thump. On a long ball, spins down to the left half forward flank and right over the top. Puo Polo. Hale to Langford. And out of bounds on the full. Sydney remain 10-8-68. Hawthorn 18-11-119. 10.5 minutes to bye-bye, wowee.
Jetta goes up towards half-back, but Stratton just floats in across the front and takes the easiest mark, and he stabs the ball 15 metres. Burgoyne takes it, and off one stride, launches and goes rash! And the celebrations just keep on going for Sean Burgoyne in game number 269. What a massive part of the dominant era of this football club he's been. Burgoyne has kicked his first, and Hawthorn have kicked 19. They're 19-11-125 to 10-8-68.
So that's 4 premierships for Burgoyne.
Yeah, 4 premierships. 3 with Hawthorn, 1 with Port.
What about that goal? Just one step, bang. Game over. He goes off for a spell. Sammy Mitchell comes on. Just so impressive.
4 premierships is rare air, isn't it? That is rare air. Yeah, he played in all 3 of the Hawthorns and obviously the Port Adelaide one as well.
Mike Pike. And what's his name? Pike. He's got 4 in
Martin Pike.
Martin Pike.
Pike.
You idiot. So the ball now back in the centre and the umpire will put it down with Hawthorn just careering away to yet another premiership. And some of these players joining the greats. And Reece Shaw kicked the long ball to the right half forward flank for Sydney and Buddy went up. This is Duryea. This is Shields. This is Gibson. Got it back now to Shields who went thump to Will Langford. And Langford went bang to Puo Polo, but Lewis comes in. Takes a wonderful, wonderful mark. Duryea takes a mark. He's now in front of the interchange and Sammy Duncan saw him go thump down to Gunston. Gunston goes up and that was okay by Gary Rowan. Over the boundary line and out of bounds. We have travel. 16 and a half minutes into the final term and Hawthorn are destroying Sydney before our very eyes.
The margin 57 points and it was practically over when the weight challenge lady came up at the 15-minute mark of the second quarter. It was over. Shaw dribbles the ball along the boundary line. Hodge appealing for deliberate out of bounds and the umpire's a little charitable on that occasion. And he'll put the ball back into play in front of just a little pocket of brown and gold, but mainly red and white in that area of the ground. They're going to go home disappointed, but they've stayed till the bitter end, and bitter it is as they're going to salute the champions. Now Bird gets on the end of the handball from Reece Shaw. 3 on 1 up here, and Tippett basically with no chance. And Lake fists the ball over the boundary line. By the way, there is David M. Green has told us there's no Lake Magnificent, but there is a magnificent Lake George in upstate New York.
Well,
that's about the closest we got.
That's close.
He's looking at the ceiling that's spinning. He's spinning, it's special. The ball came out to McVeigh. McVeigh got it off, now Rampy. Ramps a long ball down towards Tippett. Now this is Stratton. He got it off Gibson. Gibson went thumb Hill. Went out Cunningham. Cunningham not in the same arena as Hill. Hill was pulled off. What a reward for a great game, and he kicked a long ball past Sammy Duncan.
And Langford went for a very unrealistic opportunity there at the mark, and it's a free kick. Richards off to Shaw.
Hill up to 21, very good possessions.
Up to the attacking side of the wing, and Josh Kennedy will get his Spitwater numbers from Jack Everin very shortly as well. Spanger in the marking contest, a little show and go there from Gibson. His handball wasn't great, but Shields has attacked the football from the word go. Terry Wallace, he was one of the players, Liam Shields, and you can put them all in that boat, but he was one of the players from the word go who signalled to his teammates what sort of intent they were going to need today.
Yeah, playing at that high half forward role. He took on the half backs for Sydney and did a great job early.
Out of bounds it goes and back in it comes, and Hodge says to Hanbury, get out of my way. And he just gave the handball off after getting rid of Hanbury to Hill, and Hill's ball dribbles up along the boundary line and gains about 35 metres for the Hawks, who still sit comfortably 57 points in front. We've got 8 minutes to play, 19 minutes have elapsed. It's Hawthorn in the big fourth quarter for Big Four Holiday Parks, 19-11, 125. Sydney, 10 goals, 8, 68.
And the boundary umpire, Philip McLean, throws the ball back in front of a crowd that has been stunned by the mammoth task of Hawthorn. This is Hanbury. Goes down to Franklin. The ball comes out over the top now. It went now to Malcheski. But Gibson came in. Gibson magnificent out further. Got it off now Smith. Back to Spanger. Smith goes bang down the throat. Lewis will play on. He'll hand pass over the top. Got it off now towards Suckling.
Bang.
The young king went bang with a spiral punt. Hale!
Grundy.
But Grundy took a mark. And like the man from Kent, instead of coming, Hale went.
And Grundy goes with a lateral kick out to Rampy, one of several with low numbers today. Out wide he goes. Cunningham's got it for the Swans. Short to McGlynn against his old mob. There'll be a bit of taste in his mouth today. Short to Parker. And Parker launches a long kick inside 50 and going back with the flight of the footy. Well done, McAvoy. Comes to Kieran Jack. He should kick the goal under no pressure, and he does. And Kieran Jack has kicked his second. And the Swans are up to 11, but it comes as little comfort to them.
Well received, Pete. The goal.
Yeah. Well, they have stuck it out. You've got to give it to the Sydney supporters. They're still here, and they're going to see it, as we said, all the way through to the bitter end.
Well,
19-11.
Yeah, go on.
125 to 11-8-74.
All you can do is come back next year, and like a player at Carlton who was going to retire in the 80s, he said, no, I won't retire. I'll stick it out for another year.
Yep. And he did. Hey, I got a crowd here, boys.
Yes, Billy.
99,454. 99,454.
And last time in the 2012 Grand Final I met, it was 99,683.
There you go. Where are the other two?
Buddy's fee for today. The ball came out now to Lewis. Intercepting there is Jack. Here comes his opposite, number 15 in Hodge. It went out Jack. Got it off to Goods. This is junk time. Down towards a big leap Reed. At the back of the ball now will be Lake Harris. He got it off to Gibson. Back to Lake Harris. Outside 50 with an explosion there towards Dorea. Dorea's off and running and off to the races. One bounce. He took another bounce. He took another bounce. He took another bounce. Here comes Kennedy. A long kick down to Ruff, and it's downfield, and Ruff will line up for his 5th goal.
What was it downfield for?
Push just after he kicked it.
So Ruff kicked 6 last week.
Yep.
Yes.
And he's lining up for his 5th goal. He's on the right half forward flank. Out of side. Punt road end. Richards on the mark at 40. Rough head. Goes into air conveyance immortality. The rough Liam Gaffer's got their real earthquake. Hawthorn have gone bang in a Mayor of Hiroshima performance. I have rarely seen. Hawthorn 20-11-131 leads Sydney 11-8-74.
Well, there's 2 players today that I think haven't really grasped hold of grand finals. They've been, solid contributors.
Yes.
I would say Sam Mitchell is one of those, and Ruffy has been one of those, and both of those have just been sensational today.
Oh, no doubt about that. But it's been their old boys have been sensational too.
Umpire Simon Meredith. What a day for him. And, nearly having his head removed, Langford, but he kept his nose over the footy. Shields goes to Isaac Smith. He loves this circumstance, but he'll chip it instead. Did not blaze away. And Sean Burgoyne, the man who will be able to celebrate for today, is going to have a shot for goal from 45 metres out.
Well, they've got 6 players over 30, Hawthorn, and they're all their best players.
Yeah, they are.
Sean Burgoyne's one of them. I mean, Hodgie's another. Mitchell's another.
Mitchell, exactly right.
Lake's
been outstanding. Gibbo, is he up there yet?
He is, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, who knows? They could join the really great teams in 12 months' time and win 3 in a row with all of that talent. But first things first, to celebrate 2014, Burgoyne goes back and bangs another one. 2 goals to Sean Burgoyne, both of them coming in this big 4th quarter for Big 4 Holiday Parks. And a measure of the love that he has of the players is that they run from everywhere. He is held in such high regard in the football world, and in particular at the inner sanctum at Waverley.
Let me tell you, and Terry will tell you as well, you take this to your grave. These blokes, when we're dead and gone, will be talking over a beer when they're 70 and 80 about the day they destroyed the might of Sydney with all of their billionaires. Hawthorn does the very thing that we exist by. They work as a team, they play as a team, and they win the game.
In 50 years, they've played in a grand final every 3 years for the last 50, and they win at 75%.
They're a happy team at Hawthorn because they play for each other. There's a push in the back, and it goes to Tippett. And Tippett now goes bang off a step down towards a big leap Reed, but wonderful mark has been taken down there by Stratton, and Stratton now looks to his left and gets it off to Gibson. Gibson has got more plaster than a plasterer's ute. A long ball was a skew-if, mongrel, finger-breaking up-country punt kick that was marked by Hanbury. He kicked it inboard towards half-forward and Tippett went up. And now coming through there was Isaac Smith. He got it to Hill. Hill did a boom crash upper and went bang with a hand pass to Mitchell. Mitchell got it on to Hodge. Hodge got it on towards Birchall, and Birchall has just gone thump and he gets it to Burgoyne.
And we are inside the last 4 minutes of the grand final.
They've stuck it up Sydney without Vass. It's been a real sandpaper job.
This is the man. This is the man.
And listen to the reception. They stand here at the MCG.
Have a look at it.
In game number 250, acclaiming one of the great warriors of the game. And he might have dual reason for celebration in just a few minutes' time. Sydney keep the ball in play. Josh Kennedy kicks it towards half forward. Well done, Stratton. That was outstanding.
That was brilliant.
It was well done by Parker, by the way.
There was nothing to gain for that. They're 10 goals in front, and he gave it his all.
And he put his life on the line, made a statement. This is Hodge again. Surely he's your Norm Smith medalist. It came out to Kennedy. He hand passed it to Jeddah. Get off the ground! A long ball down to Reed. And this is Birchall leading in the race for the ball, and they'll clean up at back pocket for Hawthorn.
And Reed was trying to guard his left foot, and he got the double bluff there because Birchall went to his right. Little 1-2 handball with Stratton. Shorty goes to Gibson, who takes the mark out in front of Cunningham. Any minute now, you'd have to think that we're going to hear the Hawthorn theme song.
What's Hodgie?
They're giving it to him 15 metres away.
They are.
And he's now had 34 disposals. And it's a bit of ole about this every time they get the football.
Lewis is up to 37.
Back to Hodgie.
He gave it to Taylor Duray, the substitute who's come on and earned his place on the dais in a few moments' time. Hale goes up, takes a contested mark, and then he tried to fire off the handball. Jack was dispossessed. Mitchell working his way to the very end. Tippett started off really well for Sydney, but that was about the end of it for them as Hawthorn just overpowered them. Sydney kicked 2 of the first 3 goals of the game, and then Hawthorn went bang, 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 bang to lead by 20 at quarter time, and after that the result has never been in doubt.
Knocked out by Lewis. Hawthorn into attack. This is Jack. It went out. Parker got it to Malcheski. Good on you. The turnover will go.
Great run down.
It was a great run down by Bruce.
Greyhound Racing Victoria.
Bruce kicks it down to half forward, and here comes Gunston. Not in the race there, but Shaw picked it up. A skew-if mongrel worm burner to Spanger. Spanger got it out now to Suckling, who got it onto Durea. This is Lake Magnificent off now towards Stratton. Long ball down towards goal. It's bouncing and bouncing into the right forward pocket. And over the boundary line and out of bounds.
A minute and 24 seconds down to 1:23 to go for the Hawks to make it official. And in the disappearing sunlight up there in the right forward pocket of the punt road end, the umpire throws it back into play. Here's Sean Burgoyne again, snapping once more. And not able to squeeze this one through. In fact, he's missed the lot. And out of bounds on the full it goes. Checking the score. Hawthorn 21-11, 137. Sydney 11 goals, 874.
Thank you very much for joining us right around the nation and the globe. What an audience you've been throughout the year. A long ball outside 50 by Sydney went to Spanger. Spanger was grabbed by McGlynn. It went out now to Hannaberry, and Hannaberry got it on to Buddy. Buddy's out on the left half forward flank and kicks it inboard with a long skew-if mongrel punt that went on and on and on. I don't need to tell you who's got it. It's surely the Norm Smith medal in Hodge, and he got it out towards Shields, and Shields has marked it, so Shields on the left half back flank went inboard and got it to Mitchell. One of the great broadcasters in radio history will now take you to the siren. This is Peter Donegan. I've called 37 of these, and I've never enjoyed one better.
Thank you, Rex Hunt. Sam Mitchell brings it up to the wing as the clock ticks down inside the last 25 seconds, and there might still be room for one more Hawthorn goal. It is Roughhead who gets it to Burgoyne, and they go streaming inside 50. Burgoyne looks up and says,
Spanger.
What can you do? Here comes Spanger. The crowd roars, and he was kept out of it by McGlynn. And so McGlynn's going to run away as the great Hawthorn team did 25 years ago. They go back to back. In 2014, the Hawks are triumphant in the most emphatic fashion. We're the mighty Hawks. We love our club and we play to win. Fighting the pucks with the twins and Hawthorn. Come on, play by the striving. Teamwork is the thing that goes. One for all and one for one. When we play at home. Let's check the final score in the 2014 Grand Final. The official margin of victory is 26+.